Welcome to the live stream. We're just going to try to do a little bit of climbing today. I'm going to go ahead and fire it up. Haven't done a live stream in a while. I'm sure there's some people here who will be happy to see me make a fool of myself live. So most likely against a rogue here. So much of what I play against is against rogue. So I think I'm probably better off just assuming everything is rogue. We keep the quest, toss everything else. Scorn's a good pickup in the opening hands. We would actually keep this card in the mulligan if we had that option. Just gonna get the quest down and pass turn. It looks like no tradable, or it's actually a priest. That would be unusual. And we just go ahead and play the Mark of Scorn here. Do a little damage, draw a card. Unfortunately, no card draw in our hand. We do have a Bound Soul, though. And 2 Predations. And still our opponent does nothing. That's an interesting pickup. I feel like we have to just go ahead and play this to draw the cards, but we might brick on completing the quest. The only 1 mana that's going to let us draw a card is if we hit exactly Need for Greed and trade it.
Maybe.
But I feel like we still have to go for it. Like, Hero Power, do nothing, and then this is no longer Outcast and only draws 1 card. I think we just have to go for it here. And instead of Hero Power and Attack, I'm just going to go ahead and use a Bound Soul and get Lady Setheno in hand here, because the Predations will be free. And then we also have a Mark of Scorn. So already, even as of like turn 3, I'm going to want to be counting how much damage I can do with the Lady Setheno. And we see it's actually a priest here. So that is good information. And I guess we're just going to Mark of Scorn again here. Got to get some card draw going. Unfortunately, we're just missing on everything. So I'm going to go ahead and Bound Soul and get the Abusive Sergeant. Our opponent should be doing something soon. Something along the lines of like Radiant Elemental. So far, it would appear that this is likely the Savalna Infinite Priest. Which means if our opponent goes off, we're going to get to spend a lot of time watching our opponent do stuff while we wait for our turn. It looks like our opponent actually is going off. At least to some extent. He had the Valish as well here. So we pick up Warband. So we've got a Warband Sinful Brand play, and I would be tempted to just set this down to 2 health so that Bless doesn't do as much. They've used 1 Power Word Fortitude, so this is actually Boon Priest. It's not going to be the Savalna Infinite Priest that I was maybe expecting. So I think we just go ahead and cash in the damage from Sinful Brand and Warband and set this down to 2 health. It's only going to deal 8, but it's going to prevent us from dying to a Bless. Right, I guess it deals 10, as long as we do the order correctly here. We get our opponent down to 15. Next turn, the Mana Thirst on Unleash Fel is going to be active. Only 1 Bound Soul left in the deck, though, to be able to hit the spell power. Can we just kill him? We go Setheno, go Predation, or we go Setheno and we go Unleash Fel. Hits for 1. 2 dead. 4, they're all 3 dead. 9, 14, and a hero power for 15. I believe we actually have a lethal setup here, unless they heal. But as of right now, we can play every card in our hand, and I believe it's enough. The opponent actually concedes. Nice. It's always nice to win the first game of the day and hopefully try to set the tone. Really hoping to climb some ranks today. I played a lot yesterday and didn't actually do all that well. Hey, good morning, Emmanuel. Glad to see you. The determination for legend is real. I don't know about that. Don't know about that. Trying to enjoy myself and play some Hearthstone. It's like it could be a Demon Hunter, could be Rogue. We always keep the Sigil of Alacrity with this deck. And I would also, if I knew for sure that it was Demon Hunter, I would also keep the Aldraki Warblades, because the healing actually ends up being really important. If we can heal so that our opponent can't kill us, potentially buy an extra turn. Mark of Scorn also good in the opening hand. And it looks like it actually is Demon Hunter. So likely a mirror match here, but there was a different Demon Hunter deck going around for a while that actually didn't play the Soul Eater Scythe. And for a while, I mean, maybe like a couple of hours, I saw some other people playing it. But basically, you cut Soul Eater Scythe, you play 2 Abusive Sergeants along with Lady Setheno, but you still play the quest, and then you're playing like Abyssal Depths. Ooh. It's unfortunate to draw that now, but I guess it's better to have it than not have it. Next turn, we get the Sigil down. And on turn 3, we'll have a complete, so we can go... We'll have the draw from this, our natural draw, and then we can play Mark of Scorn, and we can coin out Spectral Sight even for just 1 card, and that will get us a quest completion. It's like our opponent is doing things also. And that changes everything. I'm going to coin this out just because it is going to complete the quest here. We'll pass it back to our opponent. So On turn 3, do we actually equip the Soul Eater Scythe? It's 8 damage over 2 turns, which is pretty important. But I also almost want to get down like a Sigil of Alacrity. And if I can move this over to the Outcast position, then I'll be able to complete the quest step part number 2. Additional Mark of Scorn. I go boom, boom. And then next turn, I can go Dispose of Evidence. This is Outcast and play the other Mark of Scorn, and that's going to be another completed step of the quest. I think I like it. We'll just have to be careful what we shuffle back into the deck. Playing Spell DH, been digging Spell DH2. Mine is more budget, but it's still good. Yeah, I've really been enjoying the deck too, and it's basically guaranteed that this deck gets nerfed. I like it, I have fun with it, but I think it needs to be nerfed too because, you know, you punch your opponent in the face with lots of damage, and so in Hearthstone, naturally what you would do is like play a taunt, and it actually just doesn't work because as soon as you play a taunt, then you have the Sinful Brand and Warband, and you just take damage that way as well. So, and yeah, I'm just going to keep with my plan here. Dispose Evidence to be able to get Spectral Sight into Outcast. And unfortunately, I have to put the Bound Soul back in my deck because this is how I was going to complete the quest this turn. And having the Bound Soul was actually really good here. But I don't think I have enough damage at this particular point, so that was unfortunate, but I'm also going to be drawing more cards here, so it's possible that I can pick up another one. And I do hit another one that's also going to be discounted. And we make sure we swing face here. Alright, so next turn, do we have lethal? We're going to have 3 mana on Sathino, which is going to leave us 2 mana. Oh, didn't even have time to count. I think it would have been lethal if we had counted the damage in our hand, but unfortunately we're not going to actually have that capability. Our opponent just deciding to give up after we completed 2 parts of the quest. I don't think you concede there. I mean, it's pretty likely that your opponent kills you if they've completed 2 steps of the quest, but the game is likely over in just a minute or 2 anyway, so you're not saving a whole lot of time. Sometimes they just don't have it. But I guess it depends on your hand as well, because if you're not going to be able to set up like a 2-turn lethal, then maybe you have just lost. I think I tend to stay in games maybe a little bit longer than I should, just because I want to make sure my opponent actually has the lethal, but when they've drawn so many cards and gotten discounts, I guess it's just extremely likely. Warlock, so at least I know for sure that this is a rogue. I don't remember the last time I actually played against a Warlock.
I alone will shield my people.
So Spectral Sight is a keep in this deck. All the stats say that you keep it, but the interesting thing about the stats that we have access to is it doesn't tell you the position in your hand when you keep a card, and that's really important for Spectral Sight. So if Spectral Sight was right here, it's guaranteed to be Outcast whenever I need it, then it's definitely a keep. But when it's in the middle or certainly on the far right, potentially right here you get something like a Warband or a Scythe, and then it's not Outcast anymore. But because I don't have stats, and the stats that I do have says keep it, I'm just going to go ahead and keep it here. But it's really interesting. We do have cheap things that we can get out of the way just to be able to play it. And that's something that you don't see as much with this deck as maybe you used to with like the old Il'gynoth OTK Demon Hunter, where you would literally just throw away cards to be able to get something in the Outcast position. Another small issue is we almost want to hold this to be able to combine with the Silvermoon Arcanist for a heal on turn 6, but typically from what I've seen, the game is basically over by that point anyway. We kind of have to decide what we're going to do here. I guess I could go ahead and use the Fury. So typically, I guess we don't know if this is Miracle or if it's Jackpot. And I feel like I've been seeing Jackpot more recently, and if it's Jackpot, you can actually get a lot of work done with like Warband and Sinful Brand. So the damage on the Fury isn't necessarily super important, so I'm just going to go ahead and play it again with the idea of just trying to work Spectral Sight over to the Outcast position. Not totally 100% sure that that's correct, but it makes sense. When I thought it, it thought good, and when I said it out loud, it sounded good, so that feels pretty good. It actually is Jackpot Rogue, so we could potentially just get scammed by the Jackpot cards. And the way that Rogue scams, draw 4, it's not as impactful. I guess it's pretty likely a Null comes down now, but it's not as impactful in Jackpot Rogue as it is in the other kind of Rogue. Could even just coin Weapon and swing Face to start trying to set up more and more damage. But the way that they scam us with the Jackpot is if they actually can put a lot of stats on the board and pressure our health total. This turn, it's probably better to just Mark of Scorn and work on drawing more cards. And we actually hit some healing here. This goes Face. So next turn, if I feel, you know, a little bit under threat, I might actually want to use the Warband defensively just to clear stuff, even though I don't have a Sinful Brand. But we'll wait and see what the top deck is. So that's pretty strong for our opponent. I mean, we can just remove this minion from the board with the Warband, though. I really don't want to take that much damage every single turn. And we're still quite a few turns away from being able to heal with the Unleash Fel, and we don't have a Bound Soul yet. So I think the play is just going to be to remove this with the Warband. Go ahead and make this play right quick here. Pass it back. Healing Corrupt, I struggle beating DKs with this deck. Any tips? If it's Blood DK, that's a bad matchup. So Death Knight is actually just a bad matchup. Blood Death Knight is bad because they have a lot of healing, so it can be hard to find lethal. And if it's Frost DK, they can actually freeze your face, which is impactful. Even with Lady Sethino, a lot of times you're having to attack with your, you know, big attack number to be able to finish them off. So at the end of the day, it's just a bad matchup. You just have to try to squeeze damage as much as you can. Against Frost DK, you have more ability to be able to get like Sinful Brand and Warband damage, but it's just a bad matchup overall, so it's not a whole lot you can do there. If you're just seeing a lot of DK, honestly, maybe you just switch to a different deck. If you're intent on playing this deck, then unfortunately, I don't really have any good tips because they're bad matchups. Hey Eric, good morning to you as well. Hey man, stuck at Diamond 3, never been Legend. Any advice? Love the vids, by the way. Thank you so much. I'm glad you appreciate the videos. I don't think there's anything I can tell you that's necessarily going to help you other than just keep playing the game. So what I want you to understand here, ST, is that if you're Diamond 3, you're basically already Legend. Like, you're good enough at the game to be Legend. It probably means that you have an appropriate collection level. You may not have every card in Standard, but you can make at least 1 or 2 good decks. It's really just about pressing the play button and getting there. You've already proven that you can, play against people that are capable of getting Legend. It's like a mental thing. When you've never been Legend, the first time is the hardest. You get it the first time, and then you'll be able to get it every time, assuming you play enough. Just going to go ahead and punch my opponent for 5 here. So you just got to keep hitting the play button, and a lot of getting to Legend, especially when you don't have like the 11x bonus, if you're just getting 1 star at a time, just playing a lot of games. Just keep pressing play, and you'll get there eventually. I think a lot of people, like I say, when you haven't been there, mentally, you make it seem harder than it really is. Just keep hitting the play button. I mean, you've already made progress from Diamond 5 to Diamond 3. And don't get, like, depressed, too, because, I mean, it happens to me. I usually have an 11x bonus when I climb to Legend. But it happens to me, too, where you get to, like, Diamond 2, Diamond 1, final boss, and then lose all the way back down to Diamond 5. That's going to happen. It's really just a numbers game. Just keep pressing play, Try to stay positive. If you feel yourself, getting depressed or, feeling bad about what's going on, and just go ahead and take a break. Come back later. I really wish I had a bound soul here to be able to tag along with this Unleash Fell, so we're going to work on drawing cards this turn. Second Unleash Fell. We're going to draw additional cards. We do have Healing and a Predation. I can just... if I do this now, then I can coin out the Spectral Sight and it at least completes a portion of the quest. Which I think is actually going to be the play. Need for Greed. Would have liked to have seen that a little bit earlier this game. Of course, all the damage just goes upstairs here. Let's see, they're at 12, so next turn we have 3, 6, 9, 10. With the weapon, it looks like lethal as long as there's no taunt or some kind of healing. One more turn, we'll have to be concerned about scabs a little bit. Appreciate that, man. Got Blood DK, Frost DK, and Big Mage to grind with. I'll keep at it. Yeah, stay with it, man. I would, if it was me, I would probably just jam the Frost Death Knight as long as you're having decent results with it, just because the games are shorter. Because you have to play a lot of games. It's beneficial, to me at least, to be able to play shorter games. So, one game every 5 minutes is... You're going to be able to play 2 games in 10 minutes versus only 1 game in 10 minutes. So our opponent actually sets us pretty low here. And we don't know what that mage secret is. So if I equip the weapon, we're going to need the healing off of this. What would we want counterspelled? Probably Dispose of Evidence. That way we keep our hand as big as possible. So the first spell I play is going to need to be Dispose Evidence. Okay. We could draw cards here, but we're actually unable to complete the quest step. Actually just trade this away. Could be Objection, it could also be... Warband. Go back to 20. I'm going to choose the hero power here. So it looks like they actually picked Objection. I took my sweet time with that turn because I was thinking about how bad we would get messed up on this mage secret if it was the ice barrier, them healing for 8. But it looks like we're just going to kill them. Even if they have scabs, we've got, weapon swing, we've got war bands, we've got predation. So should be a win here. It just took me a while to get there. I've never hit legend. Feels bad. Again, don't let it get to you because ranks don't really mean a whole lot as far as that kind of thing goes. Your rank is not an indicator of how good you are at the game because, with card games like Hearthstone, there is variance. Sometimes you just... Oh, baby. Oh, it's explosive runes. If the Pyroblast hits face, we actually die there. But there were 4 targets, so...
My time is almost
our opponent would have high-rolled for the Pyroblast to hit us in the face. And he finishes himself. But yeah, there's a lot of times you look at somebody you see players who are very, very good. Everybody knows that they're top 25 legend player, maybe even higher than that. I'm going to keep going with this just because we haven't lost with it yet. But you see them right now, they're not enjoying Hearthstone, they don't like the best decks, they don't like Miracle Rogue, they don't like Quest DH, and so they're playing at rank 500, rank 1000, rank 4000. Don't let your rank get you down. If you want to be legend, just keep hitting play. That's the main thing you have to do.
You asked for it.
And then try to get better as you play too. Like if you're really intent on gaining ranks, when you play, make sure that you're focused on what you're doing. You know, don't be watching like a Twitch stream on your second monitor. Don't be watching, you know, movies or picking different songs. Like stay engaged and stay focused on what you're doing in the game. And that's going to help you be able to focus, and you'll be able to win more just because of having that extra focus. So kind of depends on what's important to you. Some people are playing for fun, that's fine. Some people are playing for a better rank, that's also fine. You just have to decide, again, like what's important. Is it more important for me to like laser focus, try to rank up, or am I just trying to enjoy myself maybe after a tough day of work? Hate to see the Trog here, and that actually changes our play quite a bit. I feel like we have to try to kill the Trog. Just because as soon as we start casting spells, our opponent gets a wide board, and we could board lock them with the Trogs, but then we're still taking like 7 damage every turn, and we don't have any healing in sight. It's not worth it, so I'm going to hero power and swing into this, but I'm going to take the trade here first. I want to get that Need for Greed back in the deck, because if we top deck at turn 3, I likely just play it, even if it does summon a Trog. Never hit Legend either, but don't have the time to do so. That's a perfect example. It definitely takes time to be able to hit the Legend. It takes a lot of time to get there if you don't have the star bonus. And again, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. We're all on limited amounts of time. Our opponent takes the secret for sure. They want to be able to freeze our face so that we can't punch them. Which makes sense. And also this card is worthless for us just because we're not putting minions on the board. So, nice pick from our opponent. We're going to go ahead and kill the Trog. We want to get down the Sigil of Alacrity. And I want to go ahead and use one of these Bound Souls to get something in hand. And I'm just going to grab this Atheno in case we're able to put together some kind of a lethal. You know, if we top deck Need for Greed next turn, we draw a bunch of cards, discounts, we'll already have this Atheno. I have a second Bound Soul. With this kind of board, or against this kind of deck, we need to keep our health total in a good spot, so I might actually need to heal up with Unleash Fel, which we just top decked, and the Silver Moon Arcanist. So again, here I think we're just drawing cards. We hit another Bound Soul. And card draw not too good this game. Card draw wasn't good last game either. Did I even complete one of the quest steps last game? I can't remember. So here... I'm going to take the Arcanist. I mean, it feels unlikely that we're going to be able to kill our opponent. And because this Bound Soul costs 1 mana, I want to go ahead and have this in hand for turn 6 to hopefully be able to heal myself. Might have to look at removing some of these minions on the board next turn, though, simply because we can't afford to take too much damage and maybe set up lethal for our opponent. Guys like to stream to help Uncorrupt grow. He's a very good guy. Thank you so much. Appreciate that call out. Best rank I've hit is Platinum 5 with 30 card Unholy DK. And listen, Platinum 5 is a good rank. There's nothing wrong with Platinum 5. Unholy DK, though, is not the strongest deck, but I've heard it's really good in Wild. I don't know what kind of cards you have to have, but I've heard that it's good in Wild. Let's see, from another class. So we know that this should be the created... Yeah, that's the water guy. Our opponent only has 8. And we're going to full heal next turn with these, so I think we actually just don't worry about... I'll go ahead and Bound Soul and get the Abusive Sergeant in hand here as well. And then we'll hero power and go ahead and get this 1 chip damage face. So next turn we'll be able to clear all of this and heal back to full with Arcanist and Unleash Fel, but we really need some card draw here to be able to complete a step of the quest and try to be able to set up lethal. It's possible we can kill him turn after next. This combo likely clears the board. They won't have anything left. And we're going to want to check for Ice Trap here with this. And we pick up a Warband. and a Mark of Scorn. So we're going to Mark of Scorn this turn as well. I'm going to start with the Dispose Evidence. And we do see it's an ice trap here. So we're going to go ahead and get down our Arcanist. We're going to Unleash Fel. We do need to remember that they're going to have 4 Arcane Bolts, and they're going to be doing a lot of damage. That clears the board, and then Mark of Scorn is actually dealing 5 because we still have Spell Power on the board. And I'm just going to go ahead and Hero Power. I'm going to save the Fury because we have Setheno. So again, I have to keep in mind, we know this is going to be the Water Elemental. It's going to be 6 health, so it's going to soak some damage from the Setheno if there's a minion on the board that that triggers that. Then Legend 3 months in a row. Takes time to get there. Once you get there, it's easy every month. Yep, I agree 100% with you on that. Uncorrupt needs views. Hey, Cax. Good to see you. Appreciate you coming through. Do you play Wild? I don't. I'm not sure how good my collection is for Wild. I don't even know what the good decks in Wild are. But I took a really long break from Hearthstone, so I started playing like close to the end of the beta, maybe 1 month before the game went live. Can I kill him here? I haven't even really been counting the damage. There's no Sinful Brand in hand. I mean, it looks like we have time. Might be able to just draw cards. We go, let's see, that's 4 mana. Yeah, we don't even really have like cheap spells or damaging spells, so we need to draw cards. There's a Sinful Brand. So we can actually hit our opponent for 12. But we also summon a Water Elemental. So we kind of need to save that to be our lethal damage. But this completes a step of the quest. We know that we can 12 our opponent next turn, so we just go Fury and Chaos Strike this turn. Also, we're filling their board, so they're not going to be able to play any minions. And then we pass turn. So next turn, we've got Sinful Brand on this, Warband his face, 4 minions into here, 12 damage, and they die. But yeah, so I came back after like a couple years break from Hearthstone, and in order to catch up my collection, because I like to have a full standard collection, and in order to do that at that time, I actually dusted all of my wild cards, including the, what do they call them, like the adventures, those early on adventures. I dusted all that stuff so that I could have a current standard collection. So there's probably a lot of key wild cards that I don't have, and it's just not a format that I've really looked at. And I don't know, again, I just don't know like anything at all about the format. I hear people complain about the power level all the time, but typically people just complain to be complaining, is what it seems like. Kind of a lot of that right now. Our opponent prevents the lethal here. Next turn, they're going to have 12 from hand. Because of the 4 arcane bolts. Does Predation get us there? They're at 15. Yeah, we set their health to 1, and then Fel Barrage kills them. Hopefully I counted properly. Oh, I didn't count properly, but we still kill him. When you count wrong and still win. Hit the like button, Spartan. Thanks, man. Hope you're doing well. I assume you're still making videos? If you are, I hope you're doing well. I checked out your videos. It's been a while, I'll be honest, man. I get busy and I'm kind of doing my own thing, but I looked at some of your, I think it's Reign of Kings videos, and they were really good, man. I never got into that game, but if I did, I would definitely be subbed to your channel and getting the inside infos. Wild is what it sounds like. It's wild, super strong decks. Feels more like rock, paper, scissors than standard right now. Yeah, I can kind of do without that. I could see it being fun and being a change of pace. I probably should play, but typically I just play standard. We're on a massive win streak, by the way, if anybody's keeping count here. I'm actually not keeping count, but I think we've won 5, starting off the stream with a 5-game win streak. But not to stroke my own ego and make myself feel good, because I think yesterday when I was playing, I had like a, maybe like a 7-game losing streak. So, could be variance. It also could be, I was really tired yesterday and I was playing at night last night, and you know, when you're tired, your brain no work good. At least for me, I get tired and I don't think things through. I tend to make more mistakes. So, again, if you're trying to gain ranks, maybe make sure you play at a time where you're, you know, mentally fresh. So I work a full-time job, I get home and sometimes I'm just dead tired and I play Hearthstone anyway, and that potentially could lead to losses, but I'm not like super concerned about what my rank is, like some of the tryhards out here. Next turn, I think I'm actually just going to coin the weapon, simply because I need to get this in the outcast position, plus the 8 damage is nothing to sneeze at here from the Soul Eater side. Still no patch notes for standard. I haven't seen any. They said the patch was going to be this month, so it still could be any time within the next 2 weeks, but I would assume it's, you know, likely not going to be this week. I could download something like HS Replay just to keep track or add a text box. So I actually have Deck Tracker. That's what this is over here. Hopefully you can see it on the stream. I could check the stats if I want to, I just don't have it pulled up right now. Jackpot Rogue. Yeah, I'm going to have to draw cards, so I just want to get this out of the way. And this is what I was talking about in the mulligan from that one game. You get an expensive card that blocks this from being outcast, so you keep it in your opening hand, but if it starts over here, is it really a keep? And that's the kind of stuff that we don't have data on. No patch notes yet. Probably going to get the notes later this week, I hope so. So this is both good for us and bad for us. Because of sinful brand potential, but the good news is it looks like we're going to be able to complete the first stage of our quest here. We have both sinful brands in hand, so if we hit one Feldori Warband, that can be 20 damage on our opponent's face. Question is, am I swinging into this? I mean, they're going to be playing other minions. As soon as they replay a stash, there's going to be another big minion that we can get the sinful brand combo on. It's just a shame it's only 6 damage. But I kind of just want to get it out of the way. I mean, if I set it to 1, then an Unleash Fel, even at 1 damage, is going to be able to clear it. I need to find a way to be able to do 5 more damage to my opponent's face, in addition to having the Feldori Warband. I don't know, maybe this was a mistake. Maybe I just don't swing. So here is the second one. And Need for Greed is a nice top deck here. That's actually going to complete the next stage of the quest. And the Predation in hand, that's going to be 3 that goes face as well, so I think we just equip the weapon and swing into this guy. Pass it back to our opponent here. So still need to hit a Warband, and then like Fel Barrage could be lethal if there's these high health minions and we set them to 2. Could be some things going down, I hope. Good or bad to get all the bound souls this early? I tell you what, I had a game yesterday, all 3 bound souls were in the bottom 8, and it was just a loss. So, when you have the bound souls in your hand, if they cost 1, you kind of want to use them when you have a free mana, just so you can get them in your hand. There's the Fel Barrage, but still no Feldori Warband. There's an Unleash Fel. So I guess we need to heal up. And we can actually get the Mark of Scorn to go face.
I know there's a way.
Oh, I don't think we have enough mana, but I kind of have to do this anyway. Oh wait, we do have enough mana. I just need to use this one. So we're going to go Arcanist. We're going to Unleash Fel. And again, because it's Jackpot Rogue, we know they're going to be putting down more minions. And I actually can't get the Mark of Scorn to go face. Unfortunate, but we've got our lethal set up. We just need a Fel'Dorei Warband. And I'm going to hold the weapon swing. This being at 4 health is perfect for the Warband. As soon as we hit Warband, it's game over. We are going to be able to draw at least additional cards next turn. And I forgot about Astalor, but we're still fine here. There's the Warband, and that should be lethal with Predation. 5, 7 plus the swing. Or they're still at 2? I think they're still at 2. 5. It's 23. We've got 25. They also have Scabs next turn. Probably just take the damage now while we can. Double Sinful Brand. This guy goes face. And we know we're not dying next turn. They Scabs, they go back up to 12, so I think we actually just draw cards here. And I'm going to pass turn. We're going to be able to get potentially more healing with the Fury and the Chaos Strike, so should be able to kill him soon. The Jackpots haven't been so good that we actually just can't kill him. I guess Tess and Contraband Stash puts a taunt in the way. That also puts a taunt in the way. Can we get there with Satheno? That's 1, 2, 6. No, it's not looking good. I'm going to have to swing into one of these. Start with this guy. We'll take a trade. It's a Mark of Scorn. So that deals 3 here. There's an Unleash Fel, which deals damage face as well. If there's no Scabs, then second Predation potentially be lethal here. We're gonna go Fury. And I just want to go ahead and get a Satheno in hand here. Deck feels like old Oil Rogue back in the day. I think that was the time when I wasn't actually playing Hearthstone. I'm playing like decks like this, Magic Gathering and Hearthstone. Getting your damage while you can is always better if you have the resources to refill your cards. I agree 100%, Blaze. You got to take the damage when you can get it. So our opponent actually just dies to Fel Barrage here. Predation face, and then Fel Barrage hits face twice because of all these high health minions. But we hit the Predation, but just so you know, we had lethal anyway. This was not lucky. This was not lucky. That could be busted if Blade Dance was in Standard. I mean, honestly, I feel like the deck is busted now. I mean, look at what we're doing to people. Let's see, wins. Oh, So this is my overall record. I just turned on the stats at the top of the deck. So 44 and 26 is total. Spectral Sight is in premium outcast position here. Chaos Strike is not a keep. Let's see. Let me set this just to today. So 6-0 today. But just like I learned by playing World of Warcraft, no king rules forever. I just say that to say we're going to lose. There's no way you just continue to win. At some point, you know, maybe we are high rolling. I haven't felt like we were high rolling, but, you know, when you're in the moment, sometimes you don't realize that you're actually just really lucky. Don't want to play this just yet. Oh wow, 35 health Druid. I think that's really bad for us. I think that's actually really bad for us. I'm not sure that we beat this deck because of all the armor gain that they're going to have. This might be the... This is going to be the beginning of the losing streak. Deck is not easy to play, to be honest. I think it's... Part of it's you just got to get out and play it. Like, there's no substitute for experience. The more you play it, the better you're going to be at it. Dispose evidence. So we're going to mark a... Let's see. If I hold the mark for next turn, we'll be able to get a completion on our steps. So I'm going to go ahead and get the Setheno here. Maybe if we hit the right draws, we can just get an early Setheno kill. And sometimes you don't even need the Abusive Sergeant. Like, just the 2 damage Setheno can be enough. Ramp from our opponent, that is bad news for us. Chaos Strike, Sinful Brand, and an Unleash Fell. We want to go ahead and play the Sigil here as well. So that would be 5, 9, 12. Nowhere close yet. Yeah, Blaze, I think it is going to get nerfed. Less high rolling, more good card sequencing. I hope so. Yeah, once our opponent starts gaining a lot of armor, it's going to get really hard to win this. Next turn, they likely just play Astalor unless they have a potentially better play. Wait, this starts to add a lot of damage to our Lady Setheno here. With this, and we're going to have the Abusive Sergeant. So this turn, we just grab the Abusive Sergeant, equip the weapon, and swing face. They play Astalor, it's a 5/5, that's kind of awkward. But the Unleash Fell. I'm pretty sure this is the line. I'm going to have to see how much they heal, and I'm going to have to try to do some quick math here. Let me focus up. That leaves us 2 mana, so we'll be able to play everything in our hand. Sinful Brand will have targets. Oof, dude. Yeah. Alright, well, this is a loss. Beetlemancy. This deck is specifically designed to counter... specifically designed to counter this DH deck. Actually, we may not have lost yet. Let me think about this for a second. We can clear their board here, but we need more card draw, and we don't have any.
Maybe.
Also a Warband to go along with the Sinful Brand, so what happens if I just clear their board? I hate having to put so much damage into this, but I don't think it's something we can afford not to do. And we're just going to hero power for fun. This also prevents our opponent from dealing a lot of damage to us. We got to keep in mind they're going to have, on turn 10, they're likely just going to have the Astalor to potentially kill us as well here. Should run a Jace for decks like this. Unfortunately, like, Jace is just way too slow, and I never see this deck, so there's no deck that's going to be good against every single deck in the game. It's just not going to happen. Alright, well, this draws us some cards. We're going to go ahead and Sigil, Hero Power. I'm going to swing face here. So if we hit, we're likely just going in next turn for as much damage as we can, but if we hit the second Unleash Fel, oh, do they just take the Sitheno? I think that's just a concede. They gave us an Innervate, and they missed the relevant combo cards, but they took a Fury? Oh, they took a Sinful Brand. I wonder what their options were, because that may not have been the pick. And to give us Innervate, Unleash Fel. I need to hit the Unleash Fel. 8 cards left. That's 4, 9 mana this turn. I have to have the Unleash Fel first is the problem. And there's the Unleash Fel. I don't know if this is lethal or not, but we're going in. It's a lot of damage. You guys make your guesses. I'm gonna say it's lethal. It looks like lethal. Oh, I'm getting messed up by the animations, though. Oh. Alright, well, I was almost too slow, but we did it. That deck is supposed to counter this deck, by the way. Oh, man. Sorry, I know I fell behind on the chat here. Let's see. I'm going to catch up on the chat here real quick, guys. I promise I'm going to be queuing again soon, though. I got too focused on that game, but I will say here, though, that that's the kind of things that I'm talking about. So, you know, when you're streaming, you're supposed to be talking to the chat and interacting with people, because that's kind of like the point of the stream. But I really wanted to win that game, so I kind of like, you know, just kind of tunnel visioned on what I was doing to be able to win. But that kind of goes to what I was talking about earlier. If you want to gain ranks, you know, you kind of have to push that other stuff to the side. You know, don't be picking new songs or, you know, watching live streams or anything like that. You know, maybe you got to turn off your uncorrupt video and focus on what you're doing. Let's see. Top plate instantly said can't do enough damage. Oh, I missed something else. Crafted Frost DK recently. It plays similar to some old tempo mage decks. So I was playing Frost DK yesterday and actually lost a lot of ranks because of it. And it felt like you either have the cards or you don't. Like with this deck, you're actually making meaningful decisions. So the deck is too strong. It does need to be changed. It definitely needs balance adjustments. But there's also... it's like skill expressive. Do I draw? Do I, you know, play something to outcast this? Whatever. But with Frost DK, you either draw the cards you need to win or you don't. That's how I felt about it. And it felt bad because it felt like I was in less control of whether or not I won, and it was more up to like random chance, do you draw the cards or not? Again, just my feeling, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the deck. But I feel like I have to focus a lot more when I'm playing this deck because there's just more decision making. But I will say, too, I was saying earlier, you know, sometimes I get home from work and I'm really tired, and it's kind of like, well, you know, I'm not going to be able to play my best, and that's a good time to, you know, maybe play a deck that comes easier to you, because, you know, maybe Frost DK is hard for somebody, but they play this deck, you know, like it's nothing. You know, everybody's different, so everything is fine. Would never criticize any deck. I know there's some hipsters out there that are like, you know, they don't like the autopilot decks, but sometimes they can be really good, just depending on your mental state. Deck that beats everything, it's going to get nerfed? Yeah, absolutely. That's why Miracle Rogue is going to get nerfed. That deck is insane. We all want to see you win. I hope so, thank you. I mean, at some point, though, if you win too much, everybody starts to hope that they lose, right? Like, everybody loves an underdog, but when you have somebody that just wins all the time, say like Tom Brady, for example, most people just hope he loses because he's got too many Super Bowls now. You can push too far. Ramp Druid does better against board-centered aggro decks than against the more combo-oriented DH deck, which is still aggro. Maybe. I feel like our opponent didn't draw very well, though. The only armor card that they got was Beetlemancy. They run 2 copies of that, but they also run like a Nubricon, which means they also run the Astalor combo with a Nubricon. They also run the... they did hit 1 Crypt Keeper, but what's the other one? Underking? Underking would have healed them for at least 6, 12 if I would have had to kill it at some point, so I think they may have low-rolled on the draw a little bit. I would think that Druid deck is favored against this DH deck, all things being equal. Only focus right now to see Uncorrupt top 100. Focus is great. We want to see you win. Let's queue it back up. I think I finally caught up. Earth and Scales and yeah, that's right. Yeah, they have a lot of armor gain. Either they didn't play it or they didn't hit it. But them giving me the Innervate was really strange. I don't think it actually affected the outcome of the game. We would have won anyway. But it's really strange that you give Innervate to a deck that casting spells deals face damage, basically, with Lady Sethino, and extra mana is going to deal extra face damage. Just kind of strange. I wonder what their choices were. They may have just been in a really tough spot about what they were gonna give. Also, Theatar, lol. I didn't even know people still played Theatar. That's a good point, Blaze. They didn't get Guff. In fact, I can't remember if they played Nourish or not. I know they played Wild Growth, but they really didn't hit a whole lot of ramp either. They also held the Astalor. The 5/5 Astalor, did they ever play it? That would have been 5 extra armor. It may have been enough to change the outcome of the game. Oof! 1 turn early. Good news is we've got turn 3 complete with these guys. And we're going to trade away the need for greed at some point. I want to get it back in the deck so that I can draw it and only cost 3 mana. Dude, you're Brock Purdy right now, not Brady? I only have a loose understanding of what that means, but I think that's a good thing. I don't know. Guff 64% win rate from Mulligan. Blaze, is that still currently? Because I remember like pre-nerf pre-nerf Guff was absolutely insane. Oh, it's a mirror. Oh, our opponent. With the identical hand to what we have. Ooh, interesting. Beast of Souls. Urgh. I wish I could play this one, but I can't. There's no way I can outcast it because of this guy. And this is also worthless in this matchup. I'd like to actually hit the war... Oh, yeah, the Warblades. Now we're talking. Sinful Brand also largely worthless, but sometimes they'll actually play the Warband, and we can, Warband, make trades and potentially draw cards with this and this. So I think actually Warband face is actually bad in this deck. We also just trade here rather than hero power and deal 1. Right? That would be correct. And pass turn, so... We have both weapons in hand. It's pretty likely we want to equip one and swing next turn. And I want to try to save as much damage as I can for healing off of the Eldrazi Warblades, so if a Fury top deck would be pretty nice. They're able to complete second step of the quest, and we're in trouble. And then looking at our side, we don't have any bound souls yet, so I think we're behind. 66.4, 70% played win rate. That's insane. 70% guaranteed to win if you have Guff in the opener and play it. Is it raining or is it just me? It is raining. It's a terrible day for rain. Brock Purdy is the quarterback for the 49ers. They are 14-4. Man, I'm assuming that it was, wow, our opponent is in a really good position this game. Oh, and they have the weapon. Our opponent's in a really good position this game. Did I see Dr. Disrespect was at the game and he was like, I mean, he's almost got like some kind of relationship with the 49ers now. I knew he was a big fan, but that is really awesome. Like as a gamer and somebody that enjoys like, you know, streaming and content creation and stuff, seeing somebody at that level doing those kind of things where it crosses over to mainstream is really awesome. The Doc. All right, so they were not able to complete. I kind of want to get this over to Outcast. So we play Soul Eater Scythe, and then we coin out Sigil of Alacrity, and then next turn we can go boom, boom, and boom, and we'll be able to complete the quest. That assumes that we don't have to equip the Eldrazi Warblades to be able to heal, though, I think. Disrespect has shown up on cam in the stands a few times. I know it was big the first time it happened. Yeah, I think he was like maybe outside the stadium. I think I saw a video, assuming it was real. I mean, I don't even know. But he was like outside the stadium kind of welcoming fans as they were coming in. He had like a small stage and a microphone, maybe just trying to hype people up. But he had that, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's been to like 49ers practices. Because supposedly he threw like a 60-yard pass or something like that. Or, well, he threw the ball 60 yards and somebody caught it. I think they were just kind of standing there waiting for the ball, though, more so than running a route. But no matter what, it's really cool to see, you know. Because at this point, that's kind of like two different, I don't know, forms of entertainment crossing over. I like gaming, and I like a lot of different stuff, but I personally wouldn't necessarily call it mainstream. Alright, so we play this, that's 1 mana. I think I can actually equip the weapon and heal a little bit here as well, which seems important, but I definitely want to complete this quest. No healing there, but it's not really important. There's a bound soul, that's important. We only need to draw one more card. So we... Oof. Can I wait one more turn?
Maybe.
Because I'd like to be able to get the Sethino. They're going to heal. Can they kill us? They can't kill us without completing another step of the quest, right?
Not enough time.
Oh wow, I should just go ahead and draw cards off of that? Oh, I can't. It's stuck at, okay. Alright, this might be a mistake. Disrespect had his house shot at, also got banned for bringing a camera in the bathroom. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Gaming culture starting to become more mainstream. Yep. Don't like Dr. D. Mainstream adjacent. I don't know, I mean, Dr. Disrespect has definitely done some bad things, but is there no path to redemption for people? I mean, supposedly Western society is based on second chances. Like, if you commit a crime, Oh, we actually died? You commit a crime and you go to jail. And then when you come out, it's supposed to be like a clean slate, right? Because at the end of the day, I mean, everybody's doing questionable stuff or has done questionable stuff of some kind. Yeah, we actually died. So if I had played Warblades, we were alive. Our opponent was at full health. I wish I could get that turn back to replay it and see what the other outcome would have been. I don't know that we would have had the damage to kill our opponent from full health. Alright, we lost, so I'm going to switch deck. Forgiveness is and should be a thing. I kind of think so. I mean, I think it should be a thing. I definitely believe in forgiveness. I've been forgiven, so why would I withhold forgiveness from other people?
I will never serve.
I'm pretty sure Breeder is a keep here. I wonder if it's actually a hunter. We kind of need a weapon, but there's 6 weapons in the deck. Pretty sure these are both supposed to be keeps. But I don't think we can actually keep both. What if we keep the Hydralodon? If we keep the Hydralodon, we can actually discover the Battle Ram, and we'll have a Hydralodon on turn 5. Is that the way to win this game? This feels like extremely situational, and I don't know if it's a good keep or not to keep it like this. Plus with no weapons, so we're kind of like all in on the Hydralodon line. I guess we test it out and see. Internet age we're in right now, people are more likely to burn you at the stake than let you explain. Led to a lot of false accusations, temporarily halting careers. Hey, you did end up going live? We live, man. Every once in a while we're live. So it's actually a mirror match here, and our opponent has a weapon right off the bat. We're going to get down the batty guest. And we're kind of all in on the Hydralodon line because of the mulligan. Honestly, I thought this would be a rogue. I haven't seen a Shockspitter hunter in quite some time. Also, our opponent didn't swing. Like, why would you not attack face here? So we've got... I mean, I could get down the Spirit Poacher. Breeder on turn 3 to hit Ram into 4. I mean, basically, and this is what I'm saying, like, the deck has basically played itself. The only decision that I have, based on my hand and what I chose in the mulligan, is do I play Spirit Poacher now, or do I play Dog Biscuit on this guy? And then turn 3, turn 4, and turn 5 are already locked in stone. Also, am I taking a trade? Or am I going face? I think I'm going face. We're going to force our opponent to have something to be able to remove the 3-4. I like you live. This is fun. Glad you're enjoying yourself. Oof, man. Oh, and he hits the weapon as well. Feels like we're taking a lot of damage here. That was a good going face here. It's definitely correct for our opponent to not take that trade. We're just all in on the Hydralodon line, and I'm not even going to do this because it's just going to die to the Battle Ram next turn anyway. 62% win rate on Breeder, but that's the 8th best card. Poacher is 2nd best, tied with Candle Shot technically at first, and I haven't played it either. I haven't played it because I'm taking a very specific line with the Hydralodon, though, and again, I don't know if it's good. We're going to find out. I mean, the stuff our opponent's doing is weak. If they don't actually have a Shockspitter, we're kind of fine here. I think I can actually, like, double trade here, right? I need stuff to actually be able to die to the Hydralodon, but I also need board space. Plus, this preserves a little bit of life. I'm going to take these trades. I want board space for the Hydralodon. I mean, this is definitely on the board and it gets removed. And one of these will be on the board, so I'm going to have a nice wide Hydralodon board. But they're discovering Shockspitter. We're dead to the double. Dead to the double shock. It's going to keep to the line. I'm not even sure that this sets up lethal, which is another potential issue. So we hit here. And then we hit here. And I think we have to push the 2 damage face. And we just kind of hope we're not dead. If I do it in the right order... Let's see, 17, 19, 21, 23. We're 1 off from being able to kill our opponent. And we're likely just dead. I can't even play this with coin because the Mana Thirst isn't going to be active. So I think we track for Tavish here. Is there anything else? I don't think there's anything else. Also, that's bad. I just have to set up lethal for next turn and hope we're not dead. I know they have 1 Shockspitter. If they have 2, we're definitely dead. We might as well spend mana. I think we lost. Realize uses rain sound as audio equivalent of a background. Watch videos wondering where he was, so perpetually rained. Yeah, we died. We died. Yeah, I like the rain, man. I think it's better than no noise, and it's... I mean, saying it's controversial, I guess, is a bit silly, but, I do know some people don't like it, but... I mean, realistically, nobody likes everything. Or there's no one thing that's universally liked. Fan of the Rain, it's a relaxing. Sad meta. I don't know. I don't mind the meta. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I don't necessarily mind it. Each Spitter Hunter is Frost DK'd by not removing Hydralodon. Oh, spamming the freeze, yeah. I feel like Frost DK is good against Spitter Hunter because you can also freeze their face, what, like 4 times with the spell so that they can't attack? And you keep their Shockspitters small. Plus being able to, if you can board lock them and then freeze. Once died the Spitter Hunter who had 1 health. Yeah. I couldn't tell you how many games I've lost where my opponent only had 1 health. It really makes me question did I miss 1 damage at any point over the course of that game, because it could have been a misplay that was my fault. Thought you lived in Tornado Alley since all those storms? Not quite. It has been very rainy here recently, though. Rain is a cool part of the stream. Yeah, it's kind of like my thing. We're not keeping any of this. It should not be turned off. Oh. I think I paused it when I went to go look. This hand is not great. Also, I wonder, is this rogue or is this actual paladin? The storm returns, praise the old gods, yeah. The storm is back. Oh, it's Jackpot Rogue. Thanks for letting me know about the rain too, by the way. We just have to draw here. Warband? Minimum of 4 times. Keep Death Whisper against Spitter Hunter. Yeah, that makes sense to be able to copy all the spells. I want to say, generally speaking, though, Frost Whisper, I don't know about that matchup specifically, but generally speaking, Frost Whisper is not a keep in that deck, is my understanding. Unless I got it backwards. Oh, look at this guy. When this gets replayed, there's a chance that it gives him 12 armor. I'm gonna go ahead and get the Lady Sethino. Hopefully they don't have contraband stashes, but when has that ever happened? Playing Shaman with this is nice. It's not a keep in the deck, it's bottom mulligan win percentage. Yeah. Okay, I could actually take some Sinful Brand damage here, but I kind of want to save the Sinful Brand. It's just so much to double Sinful Brand and this, but I don't want to tunnel vision that. Maybe I just need to kill the Putricide with the first one. Make sure they don't get too many of these potions, because lots of potions is really, really bad for us, I think. Also, clearing the board is good for future Lady Sethino turns, because I do have a decent amount of damage in hand already as well. And we know there's going to be future opportunities for Sinful Brand. So I'm going to make the play like this. Next turn we probably definitely want to get down Sigil of Alacrity, and I even considered coining it out this turn. Ultimately decided not to. Oh, wow. Keep it mostly against Spitter Hunter because it helps. Yeah, and I have certain situational keeps like that as well. Man, if I had coined it out last turn, would have been a quest complete. No way to know that ahead of time, though. But yeah, like, I like keeping Eldrazi Warblades in the mirror match with this deck. We don't have lethal here, do we? We have 1. We play this. That's 6. 8, 18. Gosh, it's a lot of damage. Do we ever just do it? That's, wait, 5, 7, 9, 19. Why am I getting different values every time I count? Brain melting down, dude. Alright. We hit the need for greed. I have to play the coin, though. Be able to hold all the cards, and I'm going to go ahead and get down this Sigil and go face. Fury and swing. Did I get the swing off? Did I get the Fury off? Okay, good. So I did that because I didn't want to burn a card. It gets 3 damage in this turn. Because Sigil draws 1 plus the natural draw of the deck, so I just didn't want to burn a card there. Here's the stash. 3 3s and not 12 armor. Okay. Man, that... Oof. Relic of Dimensions. There's a Null. Ocean Belt. I'd like a Bound Soul and a Unleash Fel, please. Second Sinful Brand. If I have another Bound Soul, it's getting so close to lethal here. I'm going to start with the trade. There's the Unleash Fel. Draw a card with this. And Chaos Strike is actually a complete this turn as well. And we hit Dispose Evidence. Go ahead and equip the weapon. And play this Sigil. And then, of course, we're going to go ahead and swing here as well. Man, another Bound Soul. So somebody asked earlier, is it good to draw the Bound Souls early? And look, 2 more Bound Souls, and they're both in the bottom 10, and I really need one. I feel like if I hit one, the game is just over. I guess it depends on what their board state looks like.
You have no idea what I'm capable of.
They've also... Okay, they get 3 threes again. And Shadow Step in the test, so this is really questionable. They want to replay the test, which I guess is understandable, but they also just took a 6/6 off the board. I feel like that's super, super questionable. Beast of Souls. Alright, there's a Bound Soul. So I kind of have to Reno this turn, but is it still lethal? I think it's actually still lethal. I'm just going to go for it. With the Silver Moon Arcanist. If nothing else, we'll take the damage while we can get it. I don't want to use a Sinful Brand here, though. Oh, I actually can't. Yeah, I probably should have counted. Probably should have counted. Okay. It's fine. Sinful Souls isn't worth that much. We can't use the Predation. I guess I just do this. But I actually want all the cards that are in my hand. So we're doing that. We cleared the board. They're going to have to kill the Sathino. If we hit the other Feldor Warband, they're dead. So I didn't think this thing through all the way. As you can see, I rushed my turn, and that's exactly what you shouldn't do. They're also healing here for 4, it looks like. Great to see you too, Ben. Favorite Hearthstone content creator? I humbly accept that. Also think about the mind games of collectible card games a lot because I've been playing them. Oh wow, for 20 years, basically all your life. Nice. Good example of drawing them early, being a 1 game. Yeah, I think I botched my last turn. I don't know, maybe it was correct. I don't have any card draw now, which is an issue, though. I mean, there's no reason to play this. It's 0, so I'm just going to pass turn. Bound Soul is a dead draw because the only thing that I have left is the Abusive Sergeant. So I really need second Warband. I still have 8 cards in the deck, and not a lot of card draw left. And he just gained 12, so we lost the game on the spot right there, I think. He Shadow Steps the test again.
Were you followed?
Yeah, I think we've lost this game. I'm just going to get out of it. I'm pretty sure I misplayed that somewhere. It should have been a win. Switch it up and play some Spitter Hunter. I should have held the Sathino. That was the play. Like, there was nothing wrong with the Unleash Fel, I think. But I shouldn't have played it alongside Lady Sathino. That was the misplay. I just dropped Sathino because I assumed I'd be able to kill my opponent, which was bad. I think I'm actually just keeping Bloodseeker. It's probably not great in the mulligan, but I like having the weapon. Plus, if it's against, I mean, with the Shaman, potentially we're going to have the ability to buff it if they totem. I'm assuming it's Rogue, but Rogue has 2 health minions. We could see the Astalor come down. We could see a Ghoulish Alchemist that would let us buff this and get additional swings out of it, so I think it's fine. The real question is, does our opponent have Astalor and 3 Shadow Steps on turn 4? Because that seems to be a really common occurrence. Started playing Magic when one of the favorite sets Worlds was released. Ravnica, City of Guilds. I've actually never played Magic. Bloodseeker, 4th highest win rate mulligan card. I know Candleshot has to be pretty high up there. So, It is rogue. This is actually an interesting decision. How slow do I want to be here? I think I just have to equip the weapon and swing. I could go poacher into wild spirits, which starts to put minions on the board, but the minions are just going to get removed anyway. So I go weapon now, and then wild seeds next turn. Pretty sure I like this better. Plus, I mean, I've got weapons in hand. It does damage face. It's developing damage on the Shockspitter. This has to be correct. Candle shot, Tide, first. Yeah, I knew Tavish. Tavish is always a keep. Tavish is insane, and Tavish is almost required to be able to beat the quest Demon Hunters. Almost required. Weapon removal fairly rare. I don't remember the last time I had a weapon broken. There's really no reason to play it, I don't think. Even against Spitter Hunter, I don't think he'd play it. Second, Wild Spirits. So I feel like this is pretty straightforward, just Wild Spirits. We're going to swing the weapon. We have another weapon in hand for next turn. And actually, we swing now, but Wild Spirits next turn will actually hatch this guy. Which seems pretty good to be able to do more damage face. Swinging every turn to be able to develop Shockspitter damage seems pretty good. Deal 3, draw 2. That's good, but not great. What I like about you, think about what you're doing, helps me in deck building the most, hear your voice every time in my head, think about your win condition. Nice. Fell out of Medica when Miracle Rogue dropped Draka. Yeah, that's true. Even then, was it good enough to be played against Draka? Because sometimes, like, just the one first big weapon swing was enough to, if not kill you, to be able to set up lethal for the following turn. There's an argument, I think, to never ever play tech cards on the ladder because of the different things. Like, tech cards, to me, are almost more of like, for tournaments. Second Shockspitter, so breeders are now worthless to draw. I'm pretty sure it's just Wild Spirits. I mean, we want the weapon. The Dredge isn't going to do a whole lot for us unless we would hit, like, exactly Hydralodon. But this is going to hatch next turn and overwrite it anyway. I think this is a pretty straightforward Wild Seeds turn. And we actually, I think I wanted a Rusher this turn, to be honest. This is an important turn as far as whether I trade or go face. And I actually think I trade into the Stenographer. Our opponent only has 4 cards. I'm going to take this trade rather than the face damage. Anybody have any opinions on that? Is that correct? Control decks used to run 1 Viper just for Miracle Rogue. I feel like now that decks are basically back to 30 cards and not 40. In 40 card decks, I think you had more room to be able to run maybe those tech cards for the latter. And we're kind of coming to a point where we're just going to be dead, especially if they're creating the deal 3 concoctions. Would like to see a Devouring Swarm. That's totally worthless, and that's not good enough. So yeah, Devouring Swarm. The question is, man, that's tough. Our mana's not really working out. I think we want to remove the 4/4, even though it gives them a concoction. We're going to swing face. We're going to give them 2 concoctions here. We're gonna deal. Wait. One more turn. 5, 8. This actually sets up lethal. And then we'll remove this guy. Oh, I'm a dummy fish, man. We don't set up lethal because we don't have a second Shockspitter in hand now. I forgot about this. Yeah, I think my opponent knows it too. Oof, dude. That's a misplay. One man enough to spitter, still rearing its ugly head. Yeah, and it looks like it's going to get nerfed again as well. Because they're saying this deck just becomes way too strong if there's no rogue and no demon hunter, so they're going to preemptively nerf it. It's kind of like the community thinking. Top deck Bran actually wins this. I don't even think Tavish is good enough here. Yeah, that last turn wasn't good. I needed to Devouring Swarm on this, and then I would have gotten my Shockspitter back. Ah. So that's at least 2 games that I've lost, guaranteed, because I've misplayed. Tavish isn't good enough, right? We go to 9. They have 11. But, I mean, likely the concoctions are enough to kill us, even with an explosive trap. But it's really kind of like our only out. I guess it has to be explosive. And I think Ice Trap, because it prevents concoction shenanigans. Potentially. They have 5 damage left on the board. I think it's Ice Trap here, and then we're swinging face. Try to set up some kind of a lethal. Explosive and Motion. I think they could kill us with only 2 cards. Because we don't know. There's going to be a lot of concoctions that have been created off of Putricide, so it's pretty likely that they have at least 1 3 damage, and they could have 2 3 damage. They would be able to play both. Oof. I think our opponent sniffed it out. So we die to the concoction. Foolish Alchemist. And randomly create a concoction. Unfortunate, but again, I lost this game directly because of my own misplay, so we're starting to play really bad. Alright, it's time to go on another win streak. At the very least, I don't mind losing, but I don't like losing because of my own misplays. Like, losing, fine. If I misplayed, that's when, it starts to bother me a little bit. And when I win, I mean, everybody likes winning, but I want to, if I can look and say, oh wow, I made a misplay, but I still won, then, I mean, what value is that? Just gotta play better. Is it another rogue, or is my man actually jamming Paladin?
I alone will shield my people.
I did see one person play Paladin. And I think Paladin is actually good into this deck. Because they play like one copy of Holy Maki Roll, so they can basically Reno and heal all the way back up so you can't kill them, and then Cariel comes down. And basically the Paladin deck guarantees Cariel on turn 8. So it's just really good into this deck. You seem tired. Time for a break to recharge? I don't know, man. I don't really like, Oh, gosh, it is Paladin. This is awful. I've only been live for an hour and a half, man. That's, you know, not as young as I used to be, but I don't think I'm ready for a break just yet. Taking a misplay and still means your opponent misplayed harder. Sometimes it's just like matchup difference. It just feels really sad to Mark of Scorn and kill a 1/1, but at the end of the day, I'm just trying to draw cards, I guess. I regret drawing cards. That was my top deck next turn. I could have used the coin to complete the quest.
Really? It's not too heavy.
Saw one quest paladin. I faced a quest paladin a few days ago, and I lost too. I didn't know what I was up against, and they had like double, what is it, conviction? Like they had minions on the board. I think they played a buffet biggin, and I thought, it's fine, I'll just Reno with the Unleash Fell, and then they played like double conviction, and I just died. Misplaying, but you still won because you're playing Rogue. Yeah, maybe. The person was, I think they stream, it was Kalis Luna. Very good player. And I think they streamed, they were playing it, and I lost. I had no idea what I was up against. I died on the spot. Alright, just draw me some cards, I guess. This game is going really poorly. We're doing no damage to our opponent. We're not able to complete steps of the quest because the draws are just kind of like coming in a bad order. This is now locked. I'm never going to be able to draw more than one card, I think. Only thing we have going for us is our opponent has not played Order in the Court. But even that's kind of like a small consolation prize. Just going to continue to try to draw here, I guess. I want to go ahead and use the Bound Soul while I have the mana for it. The question is which one? Is it Setheno or is it Arcanist? I mean, I'm going to have this on turn 6 to be able to clear their small stuff. I don't think I'm killing them anytime soon. Swing and then hero power. Order, lull. Oh, was it in the Quest Demon Hunter video? I don't remember. Played a priest yesterday who fatigued me by resurrecting armor 8/8s over and over. Also had no idea what to do. Yeah. I wonder if they actually have Cariel in hand. They do, it's just so hard to win. We have double Unleash Fell for next turn, so we can almost just like do nothing. Equip this, and we'll be able to set up an outcast position on the Spectral Site. The entire board is going to get cleared with Arcanist and double Unleash Fell, so I don't need to do anything else here. Just going to pass turn. Get the weapon down, spend a little bit of mana at least. Yeah, that's interesting. You don't see a whole lot of fatigue decks anymore. Usually because the fatigue decks just die to rogues, because rogues are able to shadow step the Astalor so many times. So again, we're fine with this. We're going to be able to clear the board and we're going to heal back to full. If our opponent has Cariel, it's just extremely unlikely that we're able to win this game. So we'll go Arcanist. And, both Unleash Fells to clear the board here. And I think I actually Hero Power and Swing. I mean, I don't think I'm going to need the healing anymore at this point. I am going to have one more charge, but if I draw, for example, Soul Eater Sai, then I would want to equip that weapon and start swinging as well. So I'm just going to do it like this. Next turn, hopefully we hit like some kind of draw or tradable. I'll be able to coin and then outcast here. If they have Cariel, I think I just concede on the spot. Because again, the deck runs one Holy Maki roll, and if they're able to save that until after Cariel, then there's just no way. We hit the Need for Greed, so we actually play the Need for Greed here, because that's a lot of discounts. And that is the Soul Eater Scythe. Still no Sinful Brands and no War Bands here. So we can actually just sit on this Bound Soul for the moment. We can go ahead and Fell Barrage and swing face. Or maybe we actually just punch this and equip the weapon. A little bit better use of our mana. And it lets us save the Fell Barrage for... Lets us save the Fell Barrage for a Lady Sitheno. So, I'm saving this because it costs 0. If I draw the other Bound Soul, then I can actually play it. Yeah, That's tough. Was in their hand all along. Heard of Blessed Priest, but it's really tough playing against a deck when you have no idea of its capabilities. Yeah, that's true. I feel like Blood DK can be fatiguey against some decks. Probably my most hated deck is Evolve Shaman. Yeah, Blood DK can, but usually it's just too slow to get there. It doesn't have a real win condition. Only one Astalor just isn't good enough, and then like Alexandros Mograine is just too slow. Like, that card could use a huge buff, because even if you make it like a 3 mana 3/3, the damage just adds up so slowly over time. I mean, he is still killable, I just have to set it up. The problem is I'm going to need the other Bound Soul. The Sinful Brands would be nice as well. I don't have anything that I really want to spend my mana on this turn is the other issue. And the other issue is, like, I don't think there's a top deck that gets me there. Yeah, they just healed to full and put down an 8/10. Created by Light of the Bronze. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I'm just going to get out of this game. I don't think there's any way we can win from this position. Not at that point with the big 10 health dragon on the board. And the Sinful Brand damage being cut down so low. Three mana would be Giga Busted? I don't know. Game's in on turn 7 or turn 8, so if you have it exactly on turn 3, that's 15 damage. Where's the Blood DK getting the rest of the damage? On average, turn 7, turn 8.
I will never serve.
I think you keep the Trog on the play. Also, if I keep these, it's Hydralodon on turn 5. I'm going all in on the Hydralodon line again, just based on the mulligan. To the end on turn 7 versus a Blood DK. I guess it depends on the draw. I don't know. I guess well, I don't know how easy it is to look up because there's not a whole lot. It's a nice top deck. There's not a whole lot of stats on Blood DK, so I don't know. I mean, you could look at the stats and you could get a number, but with not enough games, there could still be variance. Next turn, it's just these guys. Is it actually Druid? Because that would be, like, kind of weird. And it's also really bad for us if it is Druid. Because of their potential to board lock us, and we're kind of all in on the Hydralodon plan here. It is. The good news is, this thing is 4 attack, so the damage is going to add up. Hydralodon is not coming down on turn 5, though. So we're going to have a full board and a hero power next turn. Hopefully we draw a weapon. Like, realistically, exactly Harpoon Gun, just because it's the highest damage weapon. We're now board locked. So ideally next turn they would have draw 3 big taunt. Miracle Growth, that's the name of the card. It's just a lot of damage though. Like even if they have the Miracle Growth, they're at 20, so nothing actually wins the game this turn. There's a Shockspitter, but we don't have... We don't have a weapon. Saddest Shockspitter ever. Turn 5 and it deals 1. Super excited for patch notes. Meta is boring. Yeah, I think everybody's ready for a shake-up in the meta here. Wild Spirits. Man, if we had... We have 5 damage. We just Hydralodon here. I'm not going to play the baddie guest. I want to leave another space on the board to potentially generate a 3-1. No weapons, but I pretty much did it to myself with the mulligan, I think, this game. I mean, it feels like we're getting there. They don't have guff. They haven't been able to earth and scales anything. So I think we're winning. It's just not flashy. It's not exciting. It's not fun. At least in my opinion. I want like Brand Shockspitter dealing 16 damage or something. That's where the excitement from this deck comes from. Pretty sure it's just over now, by the way. I don't think there's anything at 5 mana that they can have that prevents us from killing them. Yes. Alright, is the losing streak over? We lost so much, man. I think I was up in the 500s at one point not too long ago. And then just started losing. And 2 games, think about this. Guaranteed 2 of the games that I've lost are from misplays. But when you think about your rank, that's like a 4-game swing, because you don't lose ranks from the 2 losses, and you gain ranks from the 2 wins. So that makes a huge difference as far as your rank goes. Love to see Candle Shot. We don't want the dog biscuits, and I'm not keeping the harpoon gun because we already have a weapon. I want something better. I need things to do. Second weapon is okay, I guess. Tavish is great. These are two of the best cards to have in your mulligan with the deck. Candle Shot and Tavish. We're up against Rogue. We could be able to get Tavish down on turn 5. We definitely swing here. We're always swinging here. Even if I didn't have another weapon, I'm still going to swing here. We'll be able to coin out Tavish on 5. Our opponent may... Oh, it's Jackpot. I was going to say, I'm always expecting Miracle, but I see Jackpot more. But I always think Miracle. I guess that deck has kind of traumatized me. But I was thinking about Motion Denied on turn 5 from Tavish, but sometimes turn 5 is too late, like the Rogue has already made a huge board and played a bunch of cards on turn 4. Anyone playing Warrior? Basically, no. I played one Warrior yesterday. Just gonna Hero Power. And I beat him with Quest DH, and I had like an OTK, and they were at almost 50 armor, just because I saved my cards and whatnot. But outside of that, there is a Twitch streamer. His name is Bandit Keith. And I think he mostly streams in the evenings in US time. And he's been playing a Warrior that's a little bit different from what everybody else plays. I don't know if he's still playing it, but I saw him tweet it on Twitter. Bandit Keith. This is again a pretty straightforward turn. I'm just going to get the second copy of Shockspitter, swing, and equip this guy. And then we'll go from there. So things are actually going really well this game. This is how you want to be playing with this deck. I don't think you necessarily, Spirit Poachers and Wild Spirits are as strong as this kind of a start. I mean, you don't want to throw away those cards in your mulligan, but this is like the strongest start. We have 2 Spitters. We've been able to take a swing every single turn of the game. We're going to be playing Tavish on turn 5. I mean, if he doesn't kill this, I'm going to Dog Biscuit it. So things are feeling really good this game. Opponent could still beat us based on the jackpots, but... I almost think I just stay off board now. I'll take a trade here to see what we hit. Oh, another breeder? I mean, with another breeder, I'm just taking another Shockspitter. Because I've been able to attack every single turn. I don't think the random concoctions are going to be good enough for our opponent to be able to beat us here. Shockspitters are dealing 5. Next turn, they're dealing 6 after the swing. So what if I played, next turn I play 1 Shockspitter. I deal 7, he's at 15, and then the following turn is lethal. Except for this guy's in the way now, and I can't punch face. But with this, right? How much do they have? 2, 4, 6, 8. They have 12. So I go this hit here, they go to 24. And then I Shockspitter for 6, they're at 18. And the next turn I have 3 with 2 Shockspitters. Maybe it's better to just coin the Tavish here. Swing. Shoot for 6. They're at 16. That's 1. 3. They would be at 19. 16. It's just a little bit off. It's a little bit off. I'm going to get the Tavish down. Try to take some of their damage off the board. Explosive Trap. And I'm just going to take the Motion Denied. And I am going to swing here just for the damage on the Shockspitters. It only adds 1 armor to our opponent. I think I miscounted the armor off of this, and it actually would have been lethal. Another misplay rearing its ugly head. Come on, bro. So he would have been at, if I just play this, he would have been at 17. No, wait. He would have been at 18. I would have 3. Be 15. No, it was 1 off. I counted right. It was going to be 1 off lethal if I went this line with the Shockspitters. Now he's taken 3 damage. He's not doing very much damage. So we've got time. But he is generating a lot of random concoctions. That's the one issue. But he's also, I mean, he's limited to 2 cards every single turn. Otherwise, it's guaranteed that we win. So now we just need to set up lethal, and with the Devouring Swarm, it's pretty easy here. So we're going to hit here. Shockspitters are dealing 7. And there's no... I probably actually should have attacked into this. In retrospect, I got a little bit too excited because I'm setting up lethal for next turn. I don't think there's any way that they actually kill me here, but in other situations, leaving up the 5-1 would have been a massive, massive mistake. So this is one of those games that I'm pretty sure we win, but I'm not super happy about it because I misplayed on that turn. I guess it doesn't matter if you know for a fact that you have lethal and that your opponent can't kill you and everything is good, but you still hate to see it. Got too excited. Take a drink of water to refresh my brain. Yeah, Tempo Warrior is the one. I know it plays like... I think he plays Grom as a finisher, maybe? I can't remember. I saw the list. It's actually been like 2 months. Well, it hadn't been 2 months, but a couple of weeks, I guess. We're going to keep the Wild Spirits. Probably actually Demon Hunter here. I would assume it's Demon Hunter because with now 10 other classes in the game, it's unlikely that Rogue presents as Demon Hunter. Tavish is insane. Having this on turn 6, it gains health. We play Motion Denied. Hopefully, we're offered Motion Denied, and then something else. And we're going to get the weapon down here and just go ahead and start swinging. Start developing damage on the Shockspitter. So we do 1 less damage by equipping the weapon than Hero Power, but this is 3 damage over 3 turns, so it's actually more damage over time, plus adding damage to the Shockspitter, so we miss 1 damage this turn, but it's more damage later. And I like thinking about things like that because, you know, strategy games, and certainly in Hearthstone, it's thinking about the future, you know, where are we going to be a couple of turns from now. Unfortunately, we didn't get the weapon guy. And I don't necessarily want to be playing a lot of minions on the board. I hope my opponent actually removes these because I don't want them to get the big heal from the Silvermoon Arcanist and Unleash Fell. So I want to be careful here. It's going to be tempting next turn to play the Astalor. Plus, sometimes just having the 5-mana version to be able to heal on turn 7 can be relevant. But I gotta be careful. Would have preferred that they hit this guy, but I guess I'm glad that the body is no longer on the board. Is his deck yours, and can he pilot it? Eric, if you're talking about the warrior deck, as far as I know, he was the one that basically, I don't know. I don't like the term invented, but yes, it's his deck as far as I know. He's the one that made it, and he's a very good player. Bandit Keith, I've looked at his stream sometimes, and he's a smaller streamer. I think I usually see him maybe around, 10, 20, 30 viewers on Twitch. But anywhere from like rank 100 to 1,000, he's just all through the range, depending on how serious he is about climbing ranks. I would say he's definitely a very good player. Just going to go ahead and do this. And I'm going to go ahead and swing. There's not going to be any other targets on the board. We could potentially top deck a weapon, so just go ahead and get the damage in. Get the Shockspitter up. Oh, the guy I'm playing now? I have no idea. And that Demon Hunter deck is not mine. I totally ripped that deck off. I am not the genius behind that deck. Alright, so we're taking damage here. Or we will be taking damage. When I saw the coin, I just assumed they had Felderai Warband. As far as whether or not this guy's, like, as skilled as I am, I have no idea. And we did top deck a weapon, so rewarded. Still kind of wishing these were not on the board, though. They're going to end up healing our opponent for a lot. So straightforward turn. Push the damage we can. So we're expecting on turn 6. We may actually have lethal next turn. We're definitely expecting them to heal on turn 6, but we're going to have a Shockspitter brand combo that does 12, 13 with the weapon. And we may have minions on the board, so we might actually be winning this, but as far as whether or not the guy is as good as me, I have no idea. I mean, this guy could be the best player in the world for all I know. I mean, I don't have any evidence of that, but I don't have any evidence to the otherwise. I mean, this number right here doesn't mean anything. Yeah, so we didn't die. Our opponent sets us to 4, which is certainly a strong play. But we have lethal next turn. And out of laziness, I'm not even going to swing the weapon. Just boom, brand Shockspitter. Double check that math to make sure I'm not going to make a fool out of myself. But we're going to set him to exactly 0. 0 is a nice round number. Ah, come on, man. You can laugh a little bit. People's going to be getting on me about dad jokes. But it's still humorous. And feel free to use that on your own, when you're hanging out with your friends later on. You can just kind of like create a situation where you can talk about how 0 is a nice round number. You gotta love it. That's the end of my first bottle of water. Live 2 hours and I've drinking 16.9 ounces of water. I think I'm on track as far as hydration goes. You see these stories, I don't know that you see them anymore, but how people would like stream just like consecutive hours and they actually just died. Yeah, the harpoon gun's not a keep here. Like, I guess they wouldn't eat, they wouldn't drink, and then, like, fatigue because they were playing too long, and just... God, man. I remember seeing it, like, in the... Probably not the news, but... like, some kind of an article, website article, versus, like, seeing it on CNN or something. That's really interesting. I want to try to track for a weapon next turn. Not really concerned about the hero power here. We hit the harpoon gun, so we take it. Harpoon gun swing. This could be the noble sacrifice. I think I just equip this. I'll try to swing face. It spends our mana. I mean, this and hero power is the same damage, but this lets us take a look at the bottom of our deck. We could hit something relevant. And then next turn, we just have a clean turn with Wild Spirits and Candle Shot. After we swing the second time, of course.
I will drain you.
And out of these, we have one Shockspitter in hand. I think I just take the Devouring Swarm. I could take Tracking. I guess it's really between these two, and it doesn't matter because I'm going to swing again next turn, and I'll take the other one. And I'm not playing Tracking next turn because I'm going to get the weapon down, I think. Or I could track next turn because I'm already going to be swinging. And I would still have 1 mana to play this.
I have no time for games.
I take the Tracking because I could potentially hit... I don't know, something. I can't think of anything. I don't think there's anything that's changing our play here. Definitely, we need to kill this guy before, I guess, turn 7, because he has Coin Cariel. There's the Tracking. And I kind of assume that this is going to be a Reckoning.
I will drain you.
I'm going to go ahead and Dredge again. And we're taking the Devouring Swarm, because we're going to want to be able to get this guy back. We'll do this. That is going to be a weapon.
The moment is
And I'm going to track. And we're taking the Selective Breeder here, so next turn it's going to be Weapon, Breeder, and likely Hero Power. That gives us 2 Shockspitters. We're going to be attacking again. We have Bran on turn 6. We need to be killing our opponent on turn 7. On our turn 7, because their turn 7 is likely Coin Cariel. They still have 2 kept cards. They could also Order in the Court. Basically, Cariel is guaranteed when you're playing against Paladin. I think there was a story of someone in an internet cafe in China, and then a couple neglected their child through playing WoW, if I recall correctly. Yeah, I don't remember all the details. I do think it's happened more than once, though. It has been some years. So this is a really weak turn for our opponent. As far as I know, if it's the version that I've seen, they only run 1 Holy Maki roll. Maybe they're getting down the Light Ray, either this turn or next turn. That could be what that's about. There's the Devouring Swarm, so... And we're just going to keep exactly to our plan here. Shockspitter. Punch Face, Hero Power. It's starting to feel unlikely that we're killing them on turn 7, though. Would have been nice to have this with the Motion Denied in play before the Holy Maki roll. I think we still take Motion Denied, though, because assuming they run a second copy, or they can discover a second copy, they get to play it multiple times, but then taking a bunch of damage while doing it kind of negates some of the healing. I feel like I have to swing into this. It's going to hurt, but I really need the Shockspitter damage, I think. Even if I can hit like a Freezing Trap. Freezing Trap just to get it out of the way. Because I still need to be able to punch face. And then I'm going to take the Motion Denied here. And we just swing. And pass turn. Other option would have been just Devouring Swarm. I mean, it kills it. It gets this back in our hand for an additional Shockspitter. Like 3 Shockspitters on turn 9 could be pretty strong. But we may be able to manipulate the board in such a way that we can play 2 Devouring Swarm and then get an additional 2 as well. think it's just Hydralodon here. If they don't have like exactly equality city tax, then Hydralodon is really good into coin Cariel. So at the very least, this like delays. It potentially delays Cariel a turn. And then that frees us up to be able to do a lot of damage face here. There's the Reckoning. So if they coin Cariel, we still have a huge board. Like, we have a full board. Equality City Tax heals them for 6. They're at 25. Feels like it's going to be tough getting there. They may not have Cariel, but they still have 2 kept cards. I have no idea what they would be other than one of them being Cariel. The second one, I'm not sure why you're keeping a card that you haven't played by turn 7. One of them has to be Cariel. And a Chronos. And I actually can't kill him, right? There's no lethal. But I can double Shockspitter. So I can go Bloodseeker. And then I'll have triple Shockspitter next turn. So if he just plays Cariel, I still win here. He plays the Holy Maki rolls, he's taking 9 damage off of this. So he would only be able to heal for not very much. I think we just win here. He's going to be doing 8. Yeah, there's the Maki roll, but as soon as he plays the third one, he takes 9. So it's not as much healing as you would think it is. Think you're good? Yeah, I hope so. Pretty sure we've won. I mean, he's not doing anything else but healing here, and we've got 3 Shockspitters in hand. So, again, this has to be Cariel, right? That he kept. So he kept Anachronos and Cariel. Oh man, he knew he was going to concede, and he made me suffer through watching him play an entire turn of Holy Maki roll, man. The salt is real. Are you playing Spitter Hunter all day? No, I've just been playing, when I lose I switch, but I've pretty much just been playing Spitter Hunter and then Quest DH. I've been switching on losses. I don't really enjoy playing Rogue all that much, at least not this iteration of Rogue. And other decks, that like they just don't win enough, unfortunately. I understand the meta's kind of stale. I think everybody's ready for a switch. I still enjoy it though. I mean, I have fun. I don't know what it's like to watch. It may just be totally uninteresting.
Will never serve.
Am I keeping all of these? I mean, Tavish is a keep, Poacher is a keep. Trog causes problems if this is a rogue. Potentially it causes problems. Plus we have a weapon. I think you got to keep the Trog on 1 even on the coin. If it's a Druid, we're going to get a lot of Trogs. Maybe the chip damage adds up. Do you play any mage decks? I played like the aggro mage. Oh, it actually is a Druid. I think didn't I play this guy earlier? Aggro Mage is a pretty good deck, and I think it has a good matchup into Shockspitter Hunter, which is supposedly, which is one of the strongest deck if you look at the entire ladder as a whole. So our opponent actually hero powered this. If they hero power again on turn 3, that's good for us. Yeah, don't want to see the wild growth. Also, I think Big Spell Mage is in a good spot too. It should be a really good deck. Put the weapon and swing. So I could take another Spirit Poacher. And then next turn would be Poacher Weapon. Or I could take Dog Biscuit, which gets to attack right away. And it makes one of my minions bigger. Or I could even just trade this. I'm going to take the buff here. Don't really hate Mage. We got the big Spell Mage deck as a returning player. I think it's a good game. I mean, I think it's a good deck. Alright, they just ramped. They've got Innervate board clear. I think I might actually just, like, punch this with the weapon. And then I can Dog Biscuit re-equip. Spirit Poacher and Batty Guest. There's a third option. I'm not super interested in those cards. There is a third option. But I could just, like, Bloodseeker. Kill this, and then it gets buffed. I still have a 3-2 weapon for next turn. Versus a 2-2 weapon. I think I like that. And then I'm going to Dog Biscuit this guy and just try to make him harder to kill. Next turn, we likely just coin the Tavish. Shockspitter only at 3. Snake Trap could actually be interesting if we're expecting Scale of Onyxia. And realistically, they always have the Scale of Onyxia. Then having the snakes on the board could get pretty interesting. Let's see what we're offered first. I think we definitely take the motion denied if it's offered. It is. We could take Ice Trap, but they have cheap spells. They're going to test for the Ice Trap anyway. So we end up Ice Trapping like an Innervate that does nothing. If we take Snake Trap, that takes 3 snakes. I mean, that takes 3 rushers. It would put him down to having just a 2-1 on the board. A single 2-1. This is pretty worthless. They're going to test for Ice Trap. But I mean, these just die anyway. So with this prevents them from being able to Miracle Growth, possibly. Snakes aren't really all that valuable. I'm not concerned about my opponent being able to kill me here. Also, the Ice Trap counts for motion denied, so potentially, yeah, Ice Trap Innervate. As expected, but if they play 3 cards here, they're taking 9. They're definitely playing 3 cards here because they just played Aquatic Form. So they're going to take 9. I potentially have Lethal. Yeah, they actually just died here. They need like Innervate. They have second Innervate and Earthen Scales. That puts them to 14. Oh, okay. Interesting. So, the other interesting thing here is that I can go boom boom. I take 10, but I buff my weapon. Huffer's just lethal, though. Is there anything else that's just lethal from the deck? I don't think so. Because we have to spend 1 mana on the tracking, which can wait till next turn. We hit the Huffer, so we actually just won the game. Right? Yep. Rotate between Big Spell and Evolve. Would love to see you play either sometime. I haven't played Big Spell Mage in a while, but I think my most recent video was Evolve Shaman that I played that. It loses really hard to Rogue. At least the Miracle version. Evolve Shaman does. And I'm not sure about the Jackpot matchup. It'd be pretty easy to look up, though. There's a lot of good stats on Evolve. But Miracle Rogue, like with Evolve Shaman, you can lose hard just to those early wide boards, and then they always have removal. Like their rushers remove your small minions, and then once the rogue knows that you're playing Evolve Shaman, then they just take whatever that potion is that destroys a random minion, and then they just manipulate the board so that the random minion is your, big evolved minion. So you kind of have to high roll to win that game, and your opponent has to low roll. I think I want to keep the harpoon gun just because it's a weapon. It's not great, but I feel like you have to keep a weapon. Plus, the dredge isn't totally worthless. And now this actually is... I do kind of wish it was something else, but we've got a nice curve here. We are against Paladin. I'm going to swing into the 2-1. If they want to spend their turn 2 playing 2-1-1s, I guess I'm okay with it. I'd likely just kill one of them again.
With every step, the light guides you.
And they choose to hold the 2-1-1s here, so... Hydrolodon is interesting against Paladin. I guess it's bad to try to go for the Hydrolodon plan. Like if we hit a selected breeder next turn, we could take Ram, but we know they have like equality city tax, so it ends up just being like a waste of mana basically. So we're just going to go with a pretty straightforward turn here. Go ahead and get our 1 chip damage base. And actually hitting this is really good. Because we're going to Wild Spirits next turn, I think. We'll still have 1 weapon swing, we can Wild Spirits, and then the following turn we'll have the 3-2 off of this. We'll have a couple of minions on the board. Maybe if we bait out, like the Equality City tax, then Hydrolodon gets really good because it's unlikely that they would have both 2-card combos. You can see right there they probably drew either Equality or City tax. I think City tax is a... I think it's a holy spell. Equality definitely is. Second Wild Spirits is pretty good too. I'd actually end up forcing them. And we hit the 2 best ones. Pretty good. This guy goes face. What am I doing about this? I guess nothing. Not really concerned about their 1-1s. I just want to kill them. Or is it worth it to remove 1? I'm just going to take the trade. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time thinking about it. No need to use brain power on it. That may have been bad, though. Maybe the 1 damage is supposed to go up top. After all, you always push the 1. Your video was very useful. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Hood. Any criticism? Like, was there anything about the video? I mean, I know you said it was useful, but could it have been better? Is there anything maybe you wanted to hear that I didn't cover? That's the kind of feedback I need because, a lot of times people come in and say they like it, and they like the video, but I feel like no matter whether you like it or whatever the case may be, it's, could potentially just be better. Rewatch and let you know. Yeah, I'd appreciate that. Just hit me in the comments or something. I'll make sure I check it out so I know what you said. Part of me just wants to Wild Spirits here. I think I want to save the coin, potentially for Hydrolodon on 6. If I Wild Spirits, maybe that's what baits out the... maybe that's going to be what baits out the Equality. I should have swung first. That was a bit of a misplay, but I guess it doesn't matter because I got this guy. And I'm just going to go face here. Yeah, I should have swung first, but I got another stag, so it doesn't matter. There's not going to be a turn where I don't.
In the light.
Yeah, there's the equality. And the city tax, so we shouldn't have to worry about that combo. Well, he had the second one. Oh, and he didn't draw anything, so he does have the second one. That's, like, really unfortunate. There's a Shockspitter. At this point, I almost feel like I equipped the Harpoon Gun to Dredge. Harpoon Gun gets overwritten. Opponent's low on cards. Hydrolodon may end up getting wiped, but the real concern is whether or not they have Cariel. I think I want to take a look at the bottom of my deck. I got plenty of weapons, this, so overwriting one weapon charge doesn't really mean anything. Don't really like any of this. I guess I take a Dog Biscuit just because it's potentially like a tradable. So next turn, I've got 14, 17. Next turn I've got 17. I think I actually kill him before Cariel. Like maybe Coin Hydrolodon isn't even the play. Just because it gives him so many targets to be able to heal with a city tax, I want to keep my board as small as possible. That changes things. Also, I need to watch my life total just a little bit here. Ooh, and there's the Light Ray. I may not have a choice. I may have to Hydrolodon here. Nine, 10. Dog Biscuit. Yeah, I think I have to. That's really unfortunate. I don't even think I can swing. So it comes down to whether or not they have the second. Comes down to whether or not they have the second equality city tax combo. Thanks for your stream. Thought process on turns is interesting and useful. Absolutely, you're welcome. Is it Yasher? Let me know if I'm saying that right. I don't want to mispronounce it. Yeah, we do know that he has the tax. But does he have both is the question. Just the city tax isn't enough because I get all of these guys back. It actually makes the board bigger. I guess he trades first. He actually does have both. That's crazy, man. 12 cards in and he has the 2-turn combo twice. And only one of those came off of the Knight of Anointment. Because the one knight didn't draw anything at all. Alright, we're going back to Quest Demon Hunter. Switch it up a little bit here. Ooh, straight into a mirror. Keep the scorn, toss the brand. The interesting thing about the mirror match is there's so many cards that are worthless. Like Warband is worthless. Sinful Brand, worthless. I mean, really, this card I think works against you more often than not. Beast of Souls. Pretty much your opponent has to misplay for cards like this to be good. Could have traded Dog Biscuit to find Tavish. Was Tavish enough though with what they had on the board? Like I think they still had lethal damage. Because Tavish heals for 5 and even with the explosive trap. Yeah, this is nice. So if our opponent goes Warband on our face and they have the 1/1s, then I can Warband their face, trade everything, and then feast to be able to draw a bunch of cards. But it depends on them misplaying and just throwing out their Warband. I'm not sure you ever just play this in the mirror like that. Draw a card, take the damage. Maybe same thing next turn. Where did you get the DK deck? Which Death Knight deck are you talking about? Oh, they're playing fancy. Don't even play the quest until turn 2 because they want the extra hero power. Could do this, but maybe I save it. It does draw a card. This is actually just more damage. If our opponent doesn't hit Aldraki Warblades, they may not run Warblades. I'm not sure how common it is to run this card. Maybe everybody does. But you also still have to draw it. Apparently they drew it. I'm really struggling this game. They're going to heal up most of the damage we've already done. And we're not drawing into anything. Maybe he just plays Warband this turn, and I'm able to counter it. And complete a step of the quest. Maybe. Oh, he's not going for it. What do we even need? Like, at this point, we're on top deck need for greed. Would also accept either weapon. Yeah, he's just healing for 9 here, but he's not completing the quest either. But over 2 turns, he's healing all the way back up to full, and we're taking damage with no way to be able to heal. Like, even on turn 6, this isn't going to do anything. Again, unless they make a pretty bad mistake. I guess it's damage. Feels like we're losing. Feels like we are losing. Although maybe they don't have ways to increase their damage to be able to heal back up again. But I mean, at this point, this feels really low in the mirror. Like, they still have the coin, we're taking damage every turn. They just completed step 1. I think we're probably just dead next turn. Yeah, we're just dead next turn, I think. Unless we draw healing of our own. And we didn't. So I just do this to heal for 1. And be sad about it. Yeah, playing this is not a winning line, but I mean, if they have Warband, we just die anyway. So I guess we do it. We're dead to Warband hero power. I think we're just dead. I guess there's an argument against this because they could heal again with the Unleash Fell, but oh, and they hit Need for Greed, so we're dead next turn. And they complete another step, yeah. Unfortunately, we just didn't hit any card draw. And there's the Unleash Fell. Card draw coming through late. Can I get a Warblades? Doesn't look like it. Well, I'm pretty sure we're dead here, but if not, I think we actually have lethal with Lady Sathino. I don't think we're even going to get... I don't think we're even going to get another turn here, though. We have to be dead. There's no way they don't have 5 damage. Only 12 cards left in the deck. I want to actually see it, though. Yeah, it's over. Our opponent miscounted. They didn't realize they had lethal with weapon hero power. That's unfortunate. Alright, I'm going to go for another game of Quest Demon Hunter. I've been switching on the losses, but I think I played several games in a row of Shockspitter Hunter. So we go again.
Arana versus Malfuria. I must protect the wise.
I alone will shield my people.
Sigil's a good keep here. Need for greed. Potentially we can complete on turn 3. With a need for greed trade.
Anubala.
Now let's unsquelch our opponent. We'll both emote each other and have fun. Up against Rogue. They've got a really good hand too. Trade into Potion Belt. Double Null. It feels like that kind of game. No Nulls! Opponent misplay. Opponent misplay. Alright, I'm going to Sigil. And I'm going to go ahead and take Lady Setheno here. If it's Miracle Rogue, we might actually have to play Setheno early with the 2 Predations and the coin just to clear the board and not die. If it's Jackpot Rogue, then we're going to have more time. I just like spending that soul. And you can see here, I mean, they've already got a 5-7 on the board. But we do complete the quest, which is nice. Can we also kill this? That's only 5. I mean, setting it to 4, I guess, is pretty good. I'm going to start with the cheapest card draw here. And that's actually a warband. They're never going to want to shadow step this because of the extra attack on it. So we can remove it with warband next turn if we have to. So I'm going to swing face. Early warband can be good against this deck. I mean, we're going to eat 5 here, but we can remove it next turn. And we see that it is Jackpot Rogue, so I think we're fine here. Second Potion Belt. Potion Belt actually not as good in Jackpot Rogue as it is in Miracle Rogue. Like, you don't even keep Jackpot. I mean, you don't even keep Potion Belt if you're playing Jackpot. And I can always coin it out. We don't have to kill it this turn, but I don't want to take a whole lot of damage from it. Let's draw cards, though, while we have a good opportunity. Second Warband? I'd probably just kill it, right? I mean, if I trade, there's a couple of things I could get that would let me complete this quest. I'm going to say I don't actually have to kill it this turn. That could be a mistake. So Feast of Souls lets us draw a bunch of cards next turn. So that'll be just fine. We can complete the quest next turn. I just have to be able to get cards out of my hand. We're actually going to draw 10.
Where you followed?
Hunter's Secret. Might actually have to take a burn here. Start with the coin. Actually, we don't complete the quest if that's a freezing trap. Possibly. Do I play the 3-mana one? I think I play... Let's see, this. It leaves 1 mana left. I think it's fine. We'll save the cheaper one. That's 8. So I can go Sigil and Feast of Souls here. It's likely that I still overdraw. Motion denied, that's fine. We're actually just killing him like next turn. Yeah, we'll take the overdraw. So I've got Unbound Souls, so I can heal if I need to with the Unleash Fel. And if they don't have a big enough board, I think they just die to Setheno. That's fine. Less fine, but fine. So I think we actually just clear this board and heal up, right? Fel Barrage also deals a lot with the Arcanist on the board. So we're going to heal up. We're going to Fel Barrage because it's so much damage. And maybe save this for next turn. We don't have to save it. Warblades. And I'm just going to hero power here. Other option would be to trade the Need for Greed, but I'm just going to go ahead and take the 1 damage while I can. If we hit a Sinful Brand, if there's any minion on the board, they're just dead. They play Crab, they're just dead anyway, right? No. There's a Sinful Brand anyway, so we're just not going to overthink it, and we're going to go ahead and kill our opponent with it. And this is kind of why, like, this deck needs an adjustment, because you get punished for playing minions, and Hearthstone is kind of all about playing minions, I think, for a lot of people. Like, you draw so many cards, it's guaranteed that you're going to get the Sinful Brand. And you're only running one card that has true synergy with it, and that's the Warband. Like, you can get a little bit of damage with Lady Setheno and Unleash Fel on Sinful Brand minions, but for the most part, you don't have massive amounts of synergy. Played this guy earlier. I think he actually is Hunter. I can see DH and Rogue getting gutted next update. I hope they're not gutted. The power level needs to go down, but I hope the decks are still playable. I think it's always sad when the end result of a nerf is that decks just no longer exist, because now that's just gone from the game. That doesn't seem like the right way to go about it. Like the Scorched Earth policy. Plus, I mean, I try to keep in mind too, I always maintain like a full standard collection, but you have a lot of people that maybe they only like one individual class. You have a lot of people that maybe their collection, they've had to bust a lot of stuff, potentially. Like if your collection is small enough, but you say, okay, I want to be a Rogue main. And Rogue is the only cards that you have. Well, if they destroy Rogue, now you don't have anything to play, or you don't have anything interesting to play. And that's always, like, sad in my opinion. So hopefully they adjust them down, but the decks aren't just totally gone. Our opponent has a pretty good start here. I just want to keep drawing cards. The problem with this is we're not drawing cards in a way that's going to let us complete the quest. Ultimately, by turn 6, we're going to need a Bound Soul so that we can get in hand the Silvermoon Arcanist and get some healing. I feel like that's going to be the only way we win this. They also need to buff some other classes. My collection is only Rogue and Warlock. I have 0 dust to make another deck. Yeah, so that's a perfect example. Like, Warlock... and the thing about Warlock, I know Mind Warlock is a thing, but it feels like Warlock has been playing the exact same Imp deck and Imp Curse deck for like months. So it's almost like Warlock never even got an expansion, which is sad in its own way. So yeah, I hope they buff other classes too, but I believe they kind of alluded to buffing other stuff. I really need to not brick this. I bricked it. This is the saddest story ever told. I don't think we're ever killing our opponent. We're going to have to buy time. The plan is to buy time. So on turn 6, hopefully we'll be able to heal all the way back to full, and maybe that gives us one extra turn. Be able to find lethal. Warlock is my main, and I feel like I've been playing imps and curses for weeks. Yeah. Yeah, it's sad, man. Like, an entire expansion comes out, and all the cards that class got didn't do anything. Alright, now we get to draw cards and complete part of the quest. And there's no reason to use this Bound Soul. So this is a situation that I wanted to use the Bound Soul while I had the mana, but if I had known I was going to get another free Bound Soul, I think I'd likely just take Lady Sethino, and then I would have Abusive Sergeant. This is the Tavish. There's probably going to be a motion to nod here, so I just need to be very careful about how I approach these turns. Don't want to take the damage too soon. And then the other question is, do I just go ahead and take the damage from Sinful Brand and this? If Brand gets put back in our hands, we still have the mana to be able to play it this turn. I want to go ahead and get this damage. So it's Explosive Trap and Motion to Nod. I think I still want to go ahead and swing face. That 1 damage is relevant. Taking 3 here, I'm not going to be dead next turn. Shockspitters are doing 4, so I think it's fine.
Not enough time. Runic strike.
If I can get to, on turn 9, I can play my entire hand with Sethino and Arcanist. I likely have to play Arcanist beforehand just to be able to get the healing from Unleash Fel. It's an interesting play. It's a really interesting play. Are they just dead? It's Motion to Nod. I just kill them, right? Don't even count? Yeah. They're dead. 18 is such a low number. They're just dead every time, especially when you have all these free spells. Look at this. Alright. Chopper Tony down. And I think I'm actually going to take a quick break here, guys. I've been live for almost 3 hours. I'm going to take just a couple of minutes here, and we'll do some spectating, just so you guys have something to watch. I'll be right back. You have to take off here now. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you being here. I'll be back in, I don't know, maybe 3 to 5 minutes. I'm just going to go and grab something to drink, and I will be right back. Thank you so much for watching.
too full.
Our gift of fire empowers us.
No way you can sink this ship! No way you can sink this ship!
Job done.
We back. Check out the Mage Mirror. Battling to get into Legend. Oof. Feel like that's gotta be tough. Let's see. Just gonna try to keep making controller discard Warlock work. Hope the class gets new cards. Yeah, hopefully they buff some Warlock cards. I'm pretty sure they're gonna be buffing cards, just based on what they've said. We just don't know what those cards are actually going to be, but it feels like you can make a pretty reasonable case that Warlock cards need to be buffed. Warlock, Warrior, you know, probably quite a bit of things need to be buffed. Yep, Demon Hunter, Rogue, or Shockspitter Hunter, only 3 decks. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Kinda scared of nerfs since the wild player, but the wild meta, yeah. Changes to wild, I guess, are pretty intimidating because they tend to break things just as much as fix things. I see a good variety of decks around 5k Legend. The control list kill my aggro mage. Yeah, I do think, I feel like I see more variety even at this rank. Like, I started the day maybe around, I don't know, 900 or 1,000, and there's a lot more variety, but the problem is the, because this month counts towards, I guess, Masters Tour qualifications, the try-hard ranks went from, like, I don't know, top 25, top 50 to, like, top 500. So, you know, if I get too much higher than this, then I'm going to be seeing a lot of Rogue and a lot of Demon Hunter and not much of anything else. Although I guess that's what I've already been seeing, so maybe the try-hard ranks are, like, a lot farther than that. Wish they brought back Cthulhu and the rest of the old god cards. That could be pretty interesting for the set rotation in April. Like, what if they added... Oh man, Premium Hand. What if they added all those as core cards for next year? Hadn't considered how Masters qualification affects High Legend. Yeah, so the last, like, I don't know, 6 months, ladder finishes didn't count. Prior to that, like, top 50 finish qualified you for a Masters Tour, but they haven't announced, like, official information, but I think the lead competitive guy for Hearthstone at Blizzard, his name is A-Bar, and he said on Twitter that top 100 is going to be worth something. So top 100 Legend will get you, I don't know, something. And this is pretty straightforward. We just sigil and swing here. Next turn we're going to complete a step of the quest. We got these bad boys, this guy. So anyway, people are a lot more interested in playing, and that's why you're seeing more people, I think, focus on only the best decks, because they're not concerned about having fun, they want to win. And if you want to win, if you really want to win and you really want to get a better rank, you're just going to have to play the good decks. Unfortunately, that's kind of all there is to it. Oh man, we just play the Need for Greed. And then we have this other card draw to be able to complete the next step of the quest whenever we need it. No question. And we hit a warband. So we've got a warband and a sinful brand for only 3. Pretty good. This is a little bit scary that the graveyard comes down, but they haven't played potion belts and they didn't trade. And I'm assuming this gets shadow stepped. If it doesn't, then we're going to kill it. We can still kill it. I mean, do you even make a ghost if it's that small? Cthulhu turned into a shard, and the one stacked with minions the same card. I'm not super familiar with the Cthulhu cards and the old gods, because I think that was in... I took a very long, like, couple years break from Hearthstone, and I think I missed a lot of stuff, and that was part of it, so I don't really know. Qualifications observed this month. Do you think that could delay balance changes? I don't think so. They pretty much said on Twitter... we gotta kill this, by the way. I kind of hate to, but... Let's see. Actually... Yeah, I can coin out a Scorn, and it'll still kill it, plus we get the face damage here, so... You go face. Sinful Brand. And then we're going to go coin, and the Mark of Scorn hits the lowest health minion here, which is another 2 damage into our opponent's face. And we pass turn, so pretty good so far. Opponent's at 17. We're not taking a whole lot of damage. They haven't done anything super powerful. But they said that balance changes are coming this month. It's just going to be later. I think the Battlegrounds patch is today, so there might be an announcement of balance changes later in the week. And then maybe balance changes next week, maybe. I don't know. They don't have the official timeline out, but... Coming soon. The old Blizzard trademark. How much damage is this? So we have 3, 6, 8, 10. I mean, at this point, we just start punching him in the face, I think. Am I equipping the weapon? I think I equipped the weapon, and then just, kind of like guarantee that I'll be able to heal back up. I'm going to do this, and then we're going to draw, and I'm just going to go ahead and play this Fury, so... Set our opponent to 10. Next turn we have 2, 5, 8, 10. Lethal next turn, so we should be fine here. I don't think this deck has any way to be able to stop us. Unless they can, like, Hazy Concoction creates, like, a taunt. We should just be killing him next turn. Kitty cat, no! Ugh. My kitty just jumped up on my computer. And sometimes when she's jumping up, she steps on the power button. But I think we're in the clear as far as that goes. Oh, kitty, you probably shouldn't rub against the microphone. Oof, dude. Feeling lonely today, kitty cat? Let's see, is it worth creating the top 3 decks now? Well, I don't know, you always want to be careful with crafting when you're on limited resources. We know that there's going to be nerfs, and if cards get nerfed, you can get your dust back, but cards that synergize with cards that are nerfed don't return dust sometimes, so it can be a little dodgy. Look at our opponent, man. It was just too late this game. When this happens on turn 4, you lose. When it happens on turn 6, at least in this case, we just win. So... And we're also going back to full health for a flawless victory. And that's why people like playing Demon Hunter. So Demon Hunter, I actually do really well with the deck. But it's, a lot of stuff actually beats this deck. It's just so good in the Rogue, which is why it's popular. Show Kidder? Oh, but she's laying down now. I think it's illegal in my country to disturb kitty cats. People want to say hello to you, sweetie. She loves it when people come and visit the house. Kitty cats, look. And there you go. This is Macy. Oh, she's stuck on my shirt now. There you go. And she is comfortably laid back down as we queue up another game. I've got one cat, one dog, by the way, if anybody's interested in that. I don't know if you care or not, but I certainly care. I always like having pets. I think they definitely make my life more full of love, and I don't know. I mean, to be honest, it just gives you something to do. Like, you gotta have reasons to keep going, I guess. And so anyway, like, in the morning, I know I have to get out of bed because my dog needs to go outside, the cat's hungry. Meanwhile, I love the pets. Take care of them, spoil them. I don't necessarily get that treatment in return, though. We see the Trog come down, so... Oh, you're one turn early, man. Come on, Need for Greed. Need for Greed doing me in. We have options here. This can be scary if you don't have a Mark of Scorn or a Fel Barrage, because like on this turn, if you were playing a Sigil and Hero Power, you got to be really careful about what you do. But again, we just have options here. Maybe we save the Mark of Scorn just because it is draw. So we're going to Fel Barrage. Used to have 3 cats and a dog. It's so nice to have a house full of life. Yeah. I feel like especially for people who maybe live alone, it's just super important to, you know, to have some company around. I'm going to take the trade here. We hit the Warblades. I mean, the problem with Mark of Scorn is I play Mark of Scorn, and I'm just kind of like bricking on the quest. I'm going to play the Bound Soul, and I'm taking Silver Moon Arcanist because I think I'm expecting that I'm going to have some type of healing. This is going to be Shockspitter Hunter, so hopefully I can hit an Unleash Fel, and on turn 6 kind of just top back off. I was able to spend mana this turn. If I just can't spend mana any other way, I'm going to go ahead and Mark of Scorn next turn. But I would really like to top deck, say like Spectral Sight or Need for Greed to complete step 1 of the quests. I just need more cards in my hand. A little bit of a punish for not Mark of Scorning this turn, but I'll be able to Mark of Scorn and set it to 2, which will be able to set up the kill later. And you can see, I mean, that looks lucky, but I made a conscious decision to structure my turn this way, so... I'm just going to pass turn here. I mean, we do have healing in hand. We've got the Warblades, along with a Chaos Strike, and we have the Silver Moon Arcanist. Our opponent hasn't equipped a weapon yet, so we're not afraid of Shockspitters. So until they start swinging face with a weapon, I'm not overly concerned about what this deck is doing. We can heal this damage up. Okay, this starts to change things a little bit. But now I need to count Shockspitter damage. Shockspitter does 2. Predation. I'm going to start off with draw a card. There's an Unleash Fel. So anytime after next turn, we're going to be able to Arcanist and Unleash Fel, but I'm going to go ahead and equip this weapon, and I'm going to remove the 2/4 from the equation here. That's also going to heal us up. And then next turn, again, if I have to, I can swing into this, and that'll help us be able to remove and heal. Okay, we see the Tavish come down. Ugh. So we know they want motion denied. Shockspitters aren't doing a whole lot. So basically this game, my strategy is going to be to save this combo as long as I can. There's a Spectral Sight. I'm going to start with the Fury. Let's see, Shockspitters deal 3, they deal 4. I'm going to start with the Fury, I think. There's an Ice Trap. I'm going to replay the Fury. Going to draw some cards here. Take the 9. And then we can actually just dispose evidence for maximum healing. And I guess it's the Predation because I kind of want this other stuff. So we go to 13.
Not enough time.
That would be, let's see, 8, 9, 9 and 7. Oof, dude. Alright, I'm going to ride this as close as I can. We're dead here to like Brand Spitter or Double Spitter. But there's been no selective breeders played. They did play one tracking. I think we're okay here, but I may have just lost the game. I could have gone Unleash Fel. It takes this off the board and we heal a little bit more. We actually died to Huffer. Huffer and Harpoon Gun in hand, so that was unfortunate. If I play the Unleash Fel, we're alive, but I don't know, it just felt like we didn't heal enough. That entire game was just slowly dying. We needed more card draw early to be able to be in a better position. Also, because I didn't Mark of Scorn, I took a lot of damage off of the Spirit Poacher. So it was probably better to just remove that from the board now that they're running buffs. Saving Mark of Scorn allowed us to complete a step of the quest, but that's like results-oriented thinking. I think it was incorrect.
And neither will you. I do not know what Illidan saw in you.
Killed by a pig just like Robert Baratheon. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Hopefully our opponent's not actually Priest. And I'm going to say something else here. Everybody's talking about Rogue. Everybody is talking about Demon Hunter. And people are talking about preemptively you need to nerf Shockspitter Hunter so that it doesn't take over the ladder. I really hope they don't forget about Boon Priest. And on top of that, I also really hope that the entire ladder doesn't turn into Savalna Priest mirrors. Like, if these nerfs and buffs go the wrong way, we could actually be in an even worse spot. Like, I don't necessarily mind where we're at, although I do think... But his hand is awful. We're actually just AFK. Hopefully it's Jackpot Rogue that got off to a slow start. But... Wow, it's Miracle Rogue that got off to a slow start. Probably good news for us. Double Null is bad news for us. Okay. How much damage can we actually afford to take? And what are they doing next turn? Turn 4? Maybe they have like Edwin Shadow Step? This is going to deal 7. I can warband.
I know there's
One goes here, two goes here, one goes there to set up the next warband. I'm actually thinking about just equipping the weapon and swinging face. Hulk up. So next turn, if I have to, I can swing weapon into one of these, warband one, and I can actually clear all three of these minions with only one warband. It does cause me to take damage here. Next turn, they're going to be making a big ghost, but I can clear this board. Oof. If I hit one bound soul off of Need for Greed, next turn I can just Reno with the Unleash Fell, and it lets me save both of these. And I can actually swing face, plus a hero power sets our opponent to 20, and then they're dead to Warband, double Sinful Brands. Unlikely that we hit both Sinful Brands, but I think I'm actually completing the quest here. There's a bound soul. Could even draw more cards. I mean, I'm going to be healing back basically everything that our opponent is doing here. Never going to be able to complete the next step of the quest, but I think I just want more cards in hand. Play that while we can. Outcast. And we hit Aldraki Warblades with 2 Furies in hand, so we've got plenty of healing. It's feeling pretty good this game. We don't overdraw. Going to hit our opponent for 6 and then pass turn. So we've got Warblades, 2 Furies, and a Dispose of Evidence. And then we also have a Bound Soul for Arcanist with an Unleash Fell. So I think we're fine here. Hopefully they hit like second location off of this and they can't do anything. That was DNH into Savalna Priest. Savalna Priest has a lot of healing, plus they can generate wide boards. Like you'll see that they end up with a lot of Radiant Elementals. I haven't looked at the stats. I think it's probably bad though. Because as you're doing damage, they're continuously healing the damage. And then they come to a point where they're just, you know, creating so many spells. And again, the wide board so that the, Sitheno doesn't actually hit face. Feast of Souls. So, I only have one Unleash Fell here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I heal for 18, so I go back to full and they're at 20. So we never die here. I don't necessarily care if they shadow step this. And hit him in the face. They're at 14. Let's see, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's actually not lethal. But, I mean, one Warband clears a lot of this. I can go Warband, Weapon, and Dispose Evidence for a small heal and clear up a lot of their board here. The top deck is Alacrity. So Warband on this. 1, 2, 3. That leaves them with 6. And I heal for 5 and go to 13. So I don't think I ever die here. And I'm going to put back the Mark of Scorn. Our opponent needs 7 damage, so that means they need like double damage concoction. It's the only thing we die to. Yeah, crab doesn't get there. I can't remember if I completed my thought dope throne, but I think... Oh, come on, man. And that was the randomly created from created by Potion Belt? That's crazy, man. We had lethal next turn. Wonder if I misplayed there somewhere. 1 damage. I needed 1 more healing at some point in that game to not die that turn. Also, I didn't realize I was playing against the crab list. Not everybody plays crab. But yeah, I haven't looked at the stats dope throne, but I'm assuming that Savalna Priest is good into Demon Hunter. If I'd hit a discount on one of the warbands, that's the wrong way to think though. Was there any other way I could have had 1 more attack on that weapon? I guess I just left their board up for too long. We were in such a good position though. At least I thought we were. Okay. We're keeping Tavish and we're keeping Wild Spirits. And Doggy Biscuit. Likely trade this on turn 1 unless we hit something else. Messed around a little with Savalna Priest. I'm thinking it could be good with all the Control Paladin and Warrior Blood DK. Oh, wow. 40 card gamer. I'm not sure. Generally speaking, I don't like decks like Savalna Priest because they're decks that have like a high APM requirement, and that doesn't seem like a skill set that should be pushed in a turn-based strategy game. Like real-time strategy, okay, you know. I can understand, you know, APM is just like part of that genre, but for turn-based strategy, having strategies that are better if you're able to play faster, plus like you're dependent and limited by animations, I just don't like that thematically in general in Hearthstone. But the deck does seem pretty good, and there's people out there playing it. I know there's people that are streaming it on Twitch. But I think it's the kind of deck that I assume you have to play a lot because you have to be making very quick decisions about the spells you're taking off of the Shadow of Darkness, I think it's called. Quest Priest. I am shocked. We also got the 2 best ones. Man, Quest Priest in 2023, I didn't think I'd ever see the day. In general, I hate going into it, played a ton of aggro mage since hitting Legend and lose to it a lot. Yeah, it just has so much healing. Oddly enough, enjoy playing Blood DK, but I feel like it's not that good, it just punishes my deck. Yeah, I agree, Blood DK's not in a good spot right now. It's just too slow, and like the defensive tools aren't even good enough. At least in my opinion. I almost want to play the Stormpike Battle Ram, because it's just so clean to be able to trade into this. This also spends all of our mana, and it gives me a weapon immediately this turn to be able to punch my opponent in the face. So that's what I'm going to do. Also, we got another one of these coming. I'm going face, face, and I'm not even going to make this trade. I'm going to force my opponent to have to clear this, because if they don't, next turn I have the Stormpike Battle Ram. Guess if it's one option of many deck types, as long as it's not dominant, just taste, I guess. Yeah, that seems reasonable. In the same boat as Dope. There's multiple ways to clear the board, but you're just eating damage the entire time, and then you lose. That's been my experience. Alright, so this turn, pretty straightforward. We just play the Battle Ram. We get another weapon next turn off of this guy, and all damage is going face.
I will drain you.
We will take the one trade with Battle Ram here. It's because it has Rush. But you can see, this 3 damage gets to go face now because I didn't push it into Renathal last turn. Our opponent's at 14. We've got Hero card next turn. We're getting a new weapon next turn. As soon as we start to hit like Shockspitter stuff, I think we're just going to win. I think I'd enjoy Control Paladin a lot, or even Control Warrior, just want to wait for the balance patch. I think supposedly Control Paladin is in a pretty good spot right now. Vicious Syndicate was talking about it in the last Vicious Syndicate report. Okay, does Hydrolodon change things? On turn 6, they could have Light Bomb, and we're going to be killing this anyway. So that makes it more likely that they draw something like Light Bomb. I think we hold Hydrolodon here. And just get down the Tavish. Plus it gives us a better hero power going forward. Motion Denied probably isn't really a consideration against Quest Priest. I'm going to take the Ice Trap. They do have coin, but none of these are really all that good. I guess I take Motion Denied. It kind of shuts down maybe like Gift of the Nauru plus other stuff. Our opponent's on 2 cards the entire game. Plus with the Ice Trap in play, that can be a big help. So I'm going here. I'm going to swing and take the 5 face damage and then push in with the rest. So again, we really just need to hit like a Breeder or a Shockspitter to be able to close this game out. If they actually take the damage from the Motion Denied, then I think we just win. Seven, 10, 11. Hydrolodon is potentially lethal, but I want to make sure that I hero power first. I don't have to hero power first. I just want to make sure I hero power before I trade into this. So 2 out of 3, this is lethal. So I think we're going to take our chances and go for it here. And we low rolled. It is not lethal. So we're just going to take maximum face damage here. Just like this. So unfortunate. Puffer is lethal. Leok is lethal, and we actually hit Misha. So I still think it's worth it, though. Our opponent's at 1. We have the Motion Denied in play. We have a weapon. Light Bomb doesn't even clear this board. And this is actually just killing our opponent. Quest Priest probably not that good, but we have a Quest Priest enthusiast here. APM strategies are interesting. I don't think they should be pushed, but they are fun. Terrible for mobile, though, and that's Hearthstone's base these days, I think. That's a good point. Yeah, it's really bad on mobile. If the animations were cleaner, like if they updated the client to something that came out in 2023. It could be better, but their mobile clients, I don't know. I assume it's really old. I'm sure they've updated it over time, but unless it's been like totally replaced, which when I play on mobile, I would suggest that it probably hasn't. It's just tough. Oh, also, I just remembered.
I will never.
These are pretty good. I really need a weapon, though. I really need a weapon. So I don't think I made... Yeah, there was no, like, announcement or anything that I did. But I think it was last week I hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I'm actually partnered on YouTube now, which is... like, kind of weird to say, but it's also really cool. And I try to always, like, when I'm explaining it to people I know, I'm like, yeah, I'm partnered on YouTube. I always have to be like, now that doesn't mean that people know who I am. It just means, you know, I hit, like, the bare minimum requirements. But it's still, like, a really cool thing to be able to say. Interesting pickup. Do I coin this out? No, I don't think so. But do I coin out something else? Maybe not.
The moment is upon us.
Oof, dude. I think I am going to coin out a candle shot, though.
No time for games. I will drain you.
But anyway, like I say, it's just really cool. Something to be able to say.
You gotta be scrappy with scraps.
How is the new Face Hunter? Really strong. It's one of the strongest decks in the game from what we've been told. I think this is better than this at this particular point. We know we're up against Druid, and we know they're guaranteed to have ramp on turn 5. I'm going to try to protect the 2-2. Make sure that it gets to go face. Could be a tough matchup for us. I guess it likely comes down to whether or not they have Guff. Batted Guess just gives us a board here, so we don't have... If I had another piece of like this combo to be able to get Hydrolodon on 5, I would probably, you know, take the other piece, but we don't, so I'm just going to go ahead and get a Shockspitter in hand here. And again, I'm going to try to protect my board by taking out their little 2-1. So we know they're going to have Nourish on 5, and then they always have Scale of Onyxia on 7. I can actually just equip the Bloodseeker to punch this and get a bigger weapon and still have room to be able to hero power or do something else. Wild Spirits? I don't think so. So again, I'm just going to kill the minion here and everything else is going face. So I mean, we're kind of getting there. The Shockspitters are getting bigger, but I only have one. And our opponent's still at 21, and likely we would expect this Druid deck to be gaining a lot of armor. They could also have, like, potential for a Miracle Growth, but the fact that they don't have Guff actually goes a long way for us. There's a strong argument that this deck is actually just bad if they don't hit Guff. That gives us something to do. And with the Wild Spirits, we can actually fill our board here. Which I think I like better than just a hero power.
Our gift of the arcane enlightens us.
3, 9, 10, 11. So if all they have here is Scale of Onyxia, we just win. If they do anything else, we might have to do some math, but we're in a pretty good spot. And again, it's pretty much specifically because they didn't hit the Guff. Okay. 14 and 10 is 24. It's exact lethal. So you can see, like, without Guff, the Druid just struggles to do powerful things. Wait. I guess I just take the damage while I can get it. I don't know why I thought I had lethal there. Apparently I can't count, which seems to be a important aspect of play in Hearthstone, but they actually can't kill this off. They're dependent on something else. Just weapon hero power is potentially lethal. I doubt it's going to be that easy, though. If I had counted properly and realized that I didn't have lethal, I'd probably just play Tavish last turn. This was bad, man. I deserve to lose this game. Playing Ramp Druid deck to start with it, but found it really tough to play with lots of card choice each turn and incredibly slow. They kind of need like second Earthen Scales here, I think. I just need to be able to get to the face with this. You can see him counting. Yeah, so we win here. Should be able to get through. Let's see, 3. Go ahead and equip the weapon. Boom. Yeah. It's probably best, like, when you're playing, or I guess, I don't know about best, but maybe it's respectful, or I don't know, but to show damage first. If you have damage in hand, you play those cards first, and then your opponent can make a decision about whether or not they want to concede. I feel like the point of Face Hunter was to do well into Shock Hunter, but it doesn't accomplish that very well, and it throws a bunch of other matches. Shock Hunter wins. Face Hunter may also outrace Miracle Rogue and DH as another bonus. Woo! We got a Ric Flair fan in chat. Cold Crew review. Woo! I feel like I got a pretty good woo. I don't know if that actually goes through, like, on the microphone and over the internet, but when you're in person, it hits on a whole different level. Yeah, so Dope Throne, I kind of misunderstood what you said earlier about new Face Hunter. I thought you were talking about Shockspitter Hunter. I have seen that other Face Hunter deck. Supposedly it's good into DH just because of the amount of damage it pumps out. Overall, I'm really not sure how well that deck actually does, though. So that was my mistake.
I will never.
I'm going to keep the weapon here, throw away everything else. When it's an intimate woo. Yeah, when I whisper it in your ear, it's on a whole other level. Oh, man.
The moment is upon us.
Pretty straightforward. We track, and I'm going to take the Selective Breeder here. So, pretty much with this game, Selective Breeder can take Hydralodon, and then I can guarantee Hydralodon on 5. We actually hit second. I'm assuming this is Rogue. It has to be Rogue, right? But I just want to go ahead and get down the Breeder to take the Hydralodon. And basically, I'm just all in on the Hydralodon line. So, turn 3, turn 4, Hydralodon on 5.
Were you followed?
It is Jackpot Rogue, so I'm going to have to be a little bit careful of, like, objection. Likely I equip the weapon and just kill it before they can Shadow Step it, too, I think. They've already Shadow Stepped it, so that's unfortunate. Selective Breeder has got to be the most disturbing art of any card. I don't know, looks like a guy just hanging out with his pet tiger. I haven't seen, like, the full art, though. Yeah, I want to get this off the board. I don't want him to Shadow Step it again. I don't have to take the brand here. I mean, ultimately, I'm going to want the brand. I'm going to take the Wild Spirits, but I really don't think there's anything that's going to change our plays. Next turn this, into turn 5 this. But I will be able to breeder into a Shockspitter, and then guaranteeing access to the Bran is pretty good.
I will drain you.
Yep, that's pretty straightforward. I do need another weapon, though, and I know that Bran is what's coming off the top, so that's not great. But again, I'm just kind of all in on the Hydralodon play for next turn. I'm actually glad this is dying, just because it guarantees the buff. Underking is a bit unfortunate, but I mean, it heals our opponent, but it's also targets for the Hydralodon to be able to rush into. Hopefully it's... yeah, we know it's not Judgment of Justice, so we're okay with this. I think it's also not Reckoning, although the deck tracker doesn't show it. It's either Avenge or Galloping Savior. So this is a nice strong board. I need a weapon, but our opponent did heal a lot, and potentially more healing from the Underking with Contraband Stash. They won't get the Battle Cry heal, but they do get the Death Rattle heal. Look at the Tusks. Oh yeah. Okay, that is a little bit disturbing, but I don't really look at the card art that close to be able to notice stuff like that. So what's our opponent doing? I mean... we just played the Tavish here, I think. Yeah, so this dies, but it actually gives me additional copies, so I think I'm fine with this. Could be Counterspell, could be Objection. I don't think I necessarily care either way. It could also be Explosive Runes, which is something that I would likely want to play around, but it's possible that we just win next turn anyway. Motion Denied limits our opponents to only 2 cards every turn, but it doesn't seem great. I'm just going to take the Explosive Trap. I mean, at some point it's likely damage if we need it. Would have liked to have seen an Ice Trap, though. Ice Trap, I think we actually just win the game on the spot. And if I was... I don't remember the first Discover, but if I was offered Ice Trap, I should have taken it. Had a Frost DK matchup in a Thief Rogue, cast 6 Frost Furies while they gained nearly 50 armor. That's unfortunate. I feel like Frost DK is pretty good into Thief Rogue. But the Thief Rogue always has the potential to really be able to high roll and get just really big stuff. Typically it's when they hit cards that put a lot of stats on the board. Like the Paladin card, Immortalized in Stone, I think it's called. There's the Shaman card. I can't think of card names all of a sudden. Shaman card that gives the 5/4 rusher, stuff like that, and especially when it's replayed, ends up being really good. Plus they can also generate healing. Reconnaissance can generate healing and taunts, which is a problem for a lot of decks. Like when they create that Shaman 3/8 with Taunt, Reborn, and Lifesteal. It's really good. But I mean, on average, yeah, there's going to be games that you just lose instantly because the jackpots and Reconnaissance is so good. But that's just kind of Hearthstone. Like, that happens with other stuff as well. I'm assuming that this is going to be Rogue. I would feel a lot better if this was going on turn 1. Is it worth it to keep this? Oh, it's not good, right? Like, you don't keep this with this deck. Am I doing it anyway? I mean, potentially, assuming it's rogue, they trade turn 1, we play this, and they want a potion belt turn 2, but if they have a knoll, this dies, and then I've kept this for no reason like a big dummy. But they have to have potion belt and knoll. Alright, I'm keeping it. I do think this is wrong, but I just can't bring myself to throw it away. There's no way this is correct. But, oh wow, maybe it's Control Warrior. They also don't have any kept cards. I'm assuming it's Control Warrior with Renathal. I think Renathal actually makes the deck worse, though. So we're going to go ahead and start punching them here. Next turn, equip the weapon. So they've got lots of armor gain, lots of removal, so I really want to be able to create additional copies of Shockspitter, and I want to be able to buff it to obscene amounts of damage, and I think we can still win.
I will drain you.
If I take this Shockspitter, I can no longer create extra copies, so I'm going to grab this harpoon gun, and I'm going to wait as long as I can to be able to get this other Shockspitter, because I kind of have to have it, and at the same time I don't want it. Maybe I actually just, like, don't ever take this off the bottom. I really need to be able to hit the breeders. See what we get next. Wild Spirits. Next turn I've got this into Wild Spirits. If I can bait out like the Brawl or the Shield Shatter, it might make a Hydrolodon better. If Hydrolodon ever sticks, we just win. It's unlikely that it sticks, but being able to go wide with the minions. There's also a question about whether or not I even played this turn. I guess I do, because it's pretty likely with this and Wild Spirits that I'm going to get at least one weapon creator, but against 40 card Control Warrior, they're probably running weapon destruction as well. So you go face. Other option would be Boom Boom, and then next turn, Wild Spirits. Playing this now also gives them a target to be able to draw a card, though, so I'm going to do this likely with the expectation that it's just going to get destroyed. Maybe not likely, but certainly possible, and worth thinking about. I'd like to be able to dredge up a Bloodseeker, if nothing else. And I really just need to draw into Selective Breeder. Although, it's important to note with Devouring Swarm, if I end up with both natural copies of Shockspitter, I'll still be able to create more. Actually, don't mind Thief Rogue in the meta as is. Alright, I guess I see what I get off of these cards. We actually do hit this. Oh wow. We got a lot of weapons, so I don't even need to take the, So if I take Breeder, I can take Breeder now, play it next turn, and then dredge up the Shockspitter, and that's going to give me 3 Breeders for 7 mana. Plus the Devouring Swarm in hand. I think that's all fine. Our opponent hasn't gained a whole lot of armor here, which is really good for us. Shockspitter is at 4, it's going to be 5 next turn. We've got more weapons coming. So I think we're okay here. Theatar, I mean, he can take my Shockspitter. He could take Hydrolodon. If he takes Hydrolodon and tries to play it like next turn, I think we just win. He actually takes Hydrolodon. So we know they're going to play Hydrolodon next turn, which means we just want to be able to set up a kill. which we're going to be doing on turn 7 because of the raw number of Shockspitters that we have.
I will drain you.
Yep. So next turn we've got, we're going to have 1 Shockspitter for 1 mana, and then these 2. We're going to have a weapon, so that's going to be 3. We're going to have 21 damage. Depends on what they hit here. So they didn't tempo the Hydralodon. That's a good play from our opponent. Also a good play. So we're not going to have lethal, but with the Devouring Swarm, we're going to be able to... we're still going to be able to set it up, I think. I think we're okay here. Patch note dropped an hour ago. No balance changes, standard or wild. I think these patch notes were all about the all about Battlegrounds. I don't think it's like a super big surprise. So I double Shockspitter face. For 10. And then Devouring Swarm on this guy. Oh, these kind of block it though. So I need to be really careful about what I do here. Really careful about what I do here. I kind of need my opponent to actually remove these minions because this is all like just bad for me. There's no way I don't swing though because I need to continue to develop Shockspitter damage. I think I actually just get rid of this guy because he's in the way of these guys being returned with the Devouring Swarm. Looks like our opponent is playing really well here. And that Call to the Stands, they hit both Call to the Stands in a 40-card deck. That is unfortunate, to say the least. And it almost sets up lethal as well. Astalor this. We're going to swing face. We're going to Shockspitter face. Then we're going to Devouring Swarm this guy. And then we're going to Shockspitter face for lethal. Up! Opponent down! Whew. But there was a warrior for anybody, and that's why Shockspitter Hunter is really just so strong here, as you can see. That's actually going to do it for the stream, guys. Thank you so much for watching, for hanging out. I love the chat. Thank you again for all the support. Again, I'm actually a YouTube partner now. There were a lot of days where I didn't think that's something I was going to be able to say. So if nothing else, it's just really cool. Something I can tell people for the rest of my life. Hey, I was partnered on YouTube, or am partnered on YouTube. So a pretty solid day as far as playing the game. I really just stuck to these 2 decks. Quest Demon Hunter, Spitter Hunter, both performed well for me. Really solid win rate with both. I think I started around like rank 900 or 1,000. We are now top 500 after about 4 hours. Again, guys, thank you so much. The support means the world to me. Maybe at some point I'll make a video to really describe what that means, but just the fact that you're here is insane. You know, I know many of you I think are subscribers, maybe all of you. I'm not sure exactly who all is here. Thank you so much for that. But even if you're just watching, the views, the likes, all that stuff, absolutely insane. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And you can definitely look forward to more content from me, more videos. I'm going to try to fit in a live stream every once in a while, although they are a little bit rare, maybe too rare. Hit me with a comment somewhere if you do like the live streams. But again, thank you so much. I'm Uncorrupt. You guys have fun with some Hearthstone.